And we're live. And we're back. Welcome to Truckin' Talk, where Josh is back to save our fucking rating after that last fucking show we had.
I didn't even watch it, not going to lie.
I wouldn't. It was terrible. It was god-awful. I'm not trying to be that guy, but when you get like a feminist and you just asked them really basic questions.
It was a feminist?
I think she was.
Oh, my God.
And you asked them really basic questions. Like,
did you tell her to make me a sandwich?
No, her husband was there. Oh. He wasn't going to tell her either, though.
He's the one getting pegged.
Well, we're here for more therapy. If you're thinking about unaliving yourself, don't do it. I will not repeat what Brian said every show. It just makes me feel kind of bad. He brings it up still, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the message we should be sending.
Fuck no.
Make sure you paint a picture on the wall behind you.
We do not encourage killing yourself at all. Please don't.
Oh, that's Logan. Josh brought his son. Today we're going to talk on some parent matters. So it's not for kids, but we've got a kid in the...
Yeah, it's fine. Do as I say, not as I do. Dude, it's gotten so bad that on the school board we had to implement what's called a hope squad, where kids like go around and find other kids that are thinking about unaliving themselves and like intervene.
Really?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
If we had more mics, we could offer a weekend free podcast session where they could come have their little group talks and record it, save it for later. Maybe if they,
That's one of the things I'm trying to do is get a podcast for Lockwood School.
I have everything.
So that they can, I don't know what they talk about, probably like gaming and shit, but...
Hey, that's what Brian said. If groups could record it and you could play it later, so you could hear the people like, hey man, hang in there. And then so when your negative thoughts come in, you can play the positive ones and kind of, I have everything. It'd be a tax write-off. I just need access to that room on every other Friday.
It's a write-off. What do you mean it's a write-off? It's a write-off.
I don't know how it's a write-off, but I'll make it a write-off. We'll figure it out. God, we could set up in a nice room, actually. You are on the school board. I could get in every other Friday. We could do our episodes there.
You've never been in our new high school, have you? Oh, dude.
I've been in the Boys and Girls Club. They let me in the door and they say, who are you here to pick up? And I tell them, say you're not on the list. And I say, well, that's not my problem. I said, I guess call his dad and he'll be here when he gets back in town. And they're like, take him. Please. I'm like, so it's that easy? It's that easy to walk in here and grab a kid? Just fucking take him?
What one's yours? I'm just shopping.
I'm just shopping.
Give me the little blonde one in the corner.
That one looks good at football.
Yeah.
Do you want some pizza, Logan?
In a minute.
Okay. So Josh is on the school board.
Oh, yeah.
Hardened military vet. No bullshit. No nonsense. Fuck your feelings. We are going to protect these kids and do whatever it takes to raise upstanding adults. Mm-hmm. And you meet resistance.
Yes.
Can you tell us? Can you tell us about the trans conversation you had the other day about the bathrooms? That was a good story.
Oh, my God.
I loved it because he's fully on board. He totally agreed with them, and they didn't agree with him after he was done.
No, it's not really an issue in Lockwood, but other school districts, School District 2 it is, because Logan will tell you, he gets barked at in school.
Yep.
Yeah, no bullshit.
It's weird.
And it's the level of what the fuck that is just astonishing that goes on in these schools. I joined the school board and I was like, yeah, it'll be easy. I go in once a month and I vote on shit. It's not. It is. You've got parents coming at you from each direction, and you got administration, and you got the kids. So I just pretty much decided I'm just going to do what's good for the kids and fuck everybody else's feelings.
Right.
So what I do is I go in there, and if it's not common sense, then I'm not voting for it.
Right.
I mean, when you go to a meeting and they say, well, if you identify as a female and you're a male, you can use the female bathroom. Cool. Would you want me following you in after that because I now identify as a female?
Just right then and there. Hey.
Yep.
Oh, hey, look, I got to use the bathroom too.
That's
right
called
behind you.
fluid gender.
Yes.
I learned that one. It is boy now. No, I'm a girl.
Yes.
Boy, no girl. Boy. They, them. Caesar.
Oh, God, there's too many to count.
Now I'm a fish.
I'm not going to lie. If there's a lot of attractive women out there that wear cat ears.
Shh, you don't
Hey.
want that crazy.
Oh, fuck, I'm so down for it. Dude, I was already married once. We might as well just keep... I've already dipped my toes in. At this point, I might as well jump in head first. Just fuck it. If I'm going to ruin my life, I might as well just keep going down that fucking hill. So there was a person on TikTok today dressed up as an elf. And I'm like, I could get into that. Fuck it, I don't care. And then it was like, hey, bro, you thought I was a girl, didn't you? And I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I was like, I probably should just delete TikTok at this point. You know how many men are out there dressing up as women to make money?
Oh,
It is astounding how many men make money pretending to be women. And I mean,
evidently you can get a Budweiser sponsorship.
like OnlyFans models, though. They pretend to be women, and I don't know how they pull it off, but they make a shit ton of money. And the best part is they're better than women at it because they're men, so they know what to do.
With enough makeup and
Oh, I don't think some men are just really feminine, but $20 is $20, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I send Josh all those videos. Yeah, you said I'm not in the military, but $20 is $20. There I was in a room surrounded by 10 guys,
Hell yeah.
wishing I was back in Afghanistan.
See, the price of gas is going up. Shit.
Yes,
Need all the help we can get.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Our world's fucked.
Oh, God.
I do admit,
I'm in trouble.
my bus is so early. We get there at like 8:30, so we're the first bus there. And if you just sit on the benches and watch everyone walk to the high school, some of the things that some people wear is concerning.
Have you been to Vegas?
No.
I don't drink. My favorite thing to do in Vegas is to go sit in lobbies on a bench and people watch. I can do it for hours. I can't sit still where the shit. You get me on a bench in Vegas, people watching, it's fucking great. It is one of the best things ever.
But you'll see people wear cat ears or short skirts in like 10-degree weather.
The skirt's so short, the balls are hanging out the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's my rocker arm.
Could probably just JB weld this back together.
That's what the guy on TikTok said from North Dakota. He said there's no reason you can't reuse any part.
Yep.
It's Big Pharma that wants you to believe that you have to buy new engine parts.
Well, I raped you. My markup was 30% on those fucking parts. Mama needs to go to Boca.
Plus 80 grand in labor.
Right. One day I did figure out what the labor rate would have been. You don't want to know.
Well, everyone's like, yeah, you're lucky because 40 grand for me to get a new engine. I was like, 40 grand for it's fucking 50 for the engine.
Hold on. Hello? Yep. Yes, sir.
Our important guests on the phone.
Good, you?
I have no idea.
Do. Oh, he's number 3. Watch this. Pew. Okay, Logan. Now we won't distract him. His headset's turned off. What do you wear to school?
Yeah.
Jesus. What do you wear to school, Logan? Is it appropriate? Oh, you got boots and jeans.
Yeah. I have.
Watch this. Pew. Monster. We need a sponsorship. That's yours, by the way,
Oh,
if you want it. It's Friday. It's weekend. You can stay up late. Your parents won't get mad.
I don't stay up late. I don't work like that.
You don't work like that. When's bedtime?
8:30, start winding down, shower, around 10ish, 11.
Yeah.
God damn.
Except for sometimes where I stay up till like 3 in the morning. It's fun.
Unless I have my daughter, it ranges from 9 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock the next morning.
No, I agree.
It's really awkward when your dad walks in to feed your cat and you're just sitting there on your phone. It's kind of awkward.
To feed your cat.
Okay. Thank you.
I forget to feed him sometimes.
Forget to feed it. Or you walk in and Brian doesn't lock the door and he's sitting on the toilet getting ready to go take a shower. And you open the door and all you hear is, ah!
Nobody wants to see this naked.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, there you go.
Yeah, nobody wants to see this naked. It's scary.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Where were we?
School board.
Yeah, school board. It's boring.
It's boring.
No, it's fixing a bunch of other people's problems.
That nobody wants to fix.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like it sounds like most politics, though. You sit there and you do nothing, tell people you're doing something, and nothing happens, and then they vote in the next regime. And then they sit there and tell people.
well,
But then you get like the one person that tries to do something, and everyone's like, hey, we don't do that. We
get the, like, my kids, I've never been exposed to some of the stuff that they do. Not my kids, but, I mean, teachers now have to be therapists, psychiatrists, moms, dads. I mean, we send food home with kids.
Right.
We do their laundry at school.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who's the parent?
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the common debates is what point do you, because the TikTok hearing, I watched some of that, and they
God.
kept saying, well, who's keeping the kids safe? And the CEO guy is kind of like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. Shouldn't the fucking parents be doing something? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, shouldn't TikTok be making sure that it's like, no, it's not my job to tell you what your kids can and can't watch. That's kind of your fucking deal. And I was like, how many people are not parents?
Yeah.
They're friends or whatever, or they're absent for the most part. Oh, food. Someone's hungry.
Oh. Yeah, it's depressing. We get small victories though. Like I was able to go with the FFA team up to Great Falls a couple weeks ago or whatever, and that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Is your dad angry? No, that's his. Is it really that hard to fix a simple problem face?
Dude, if we go somewhere, okay, here's a fucking story. So we had this girl, right? She's on the welding team. She has like a size 5 head, which tiny, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, what's going on? It's like, oh, my helmet doesn't fit right. She's getting like arc flash behind her and shit. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna put 2 hats on, then we're gonna duct tape like this foam shit to the band, and then it might stand. I was like, no, get in the fucking truck. Like, what? Yeah, we loaded everybody up, took them to General Distributing, and I was like, pick one out. And the guy's like, well, those are the expensive ones. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Fucking pick one that fits her head and she's comfortable wearing.
I wouldn't have brought her down here and said pick one out if I was worried about which.
Yeah, she goes and finds one, and they're like, oh, that one's $600. I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then
Josh goes, you're not my wife. I don't have to ask you permission to spend money.
and then she finds that it didn't fit. Then we found an all black one, and with a small headgear, and we put it on there, and the teacher was like, we can't afford that. I was like, we said you were fucking buying it.
Yeah. Like that, I'm not asking permission because I don't need your okay to do this.
No. And
This is my money.
we get done, and I'm like, hey, do you need a hat? And she's like, what? I was like, get Logan. So Logan, they go get Logan, bring him out. I was like, show her how to put a fucking hat on, dude. So he's like, okay, if you're welding this way, you put it over this ear so sparks don't get in your fucking ear. If you're welding this way, put it over this way so sparks don't get in. You want to be able to fit both your ears in it. And she's like, oh, this is much nicer than my idea. I was like, yeah, no shit.
It's not fun to get sparks in your.
Oh no, I've been in welding class and I did really good, but like I said, I went and bought a nice welding helmet because it is difficult to excel at something if you can't even perform on a basic level. If you don't have what it takes to perform, then you're screwed.
Yeah, and if one girl goes into, welding or mechanics or whatever, and she drops out or doesn't pursue it the next year or the next semester because she has ill-fitting PPE, that's bullshit.
Right.
I was like, hey, find some extra small gloves. Well, my gloves kind of work. I was like, that's not what I fucking said.
Josh's like, we don't want kindas around here. We want you to kick everyone's ass in this competition. And that's one thing I like about Josh. There's no excuses. If you have an excuse and he can fix it, done. We will get rid of it.
This was fixed with money. Like, done.
Yeah.
To be done with it. It ended up being, the fuck was it? Like 400?
I don't know.
It ended up being like $400.
Which isn't a lot of money.
No. Well, to a school district, $400 is a lot of money. To me, $400 is like a night out with my wife.
Right.
And I don't even drink.
But like you said, though, to give, hey, I can't do, I want to quit because I can't get what I need to compete or do this task or whatever. It's like, hey, $400 and you can then maybe have a whole life ahead of you. Done.
If you show interest in the trades and you have something to do with something that I'm interested in, by God, we're going to fucking do it.
Right.
We're going to give it the old college try.
And I've seen it firsthand.
One of my customers was real nice and gave us a hell of a deal on this fucking 1978 Dodge W100 Club Cab Power Wagon with a 440 in it. And, he gave it to me very reasonably priced. And so I turn around and I'm like, hey, FFA kids, do you want to rebuild this thing and like put it in the competition for next year? And they're like, holy shit, yeah, that'd be awesome. I was like, fucking done.
Right.
I can get 4 to 5 kids not playing on some sort of gaming device, running around being hoodlums, drinking and driving, smoking dope, doing whatever, and I can get them in a shop under semi-professional supervision where it's safe and they can work with their hands and make something they can be proud of.
Yes. And carry that on for future.
Exactly.
Because I never, like I said, I didn't have that. We were in a garage, me and some buddies, kicking intake manifolds off of shit and breaking them in half and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have, and like I said, I more or less gave up on technical mechanicking. I can change brakes. I can do a lot of shit. But I would never open an engine because I was not about to fucking be that guy that burned up a brand new engine. Just to find out that if I would have just, all I had to do was clock my bearing a different direction and been totally fine. Because I put my rocker arms upside down on my, on one of
no, you didn't.
On one of my engines, I put my rocker arm upside down.
I was there. They're all right.
Well, on that big engine, yes. But the other one, they're on a rod. Mm-hmm. They're all set the rod on there. I had it 180 out, and I'm like, I have no oil to have my engine. And it's because the rocker arm was upside down.
Yeah, did you see that TikTok where the guy put, it was a Detroit.
Yeah.
And he put the rocker shaft in upside down. And remember when I was putting them in, I was like, see the bevel part? That goes down, flat top goes up.
Yeah.
Well, he did the opposite, and he had no oil pressure to, like, the first 3 cylinders because the oil galley was...
closed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we're doing. I mean, we're coming up. We're gonna build a... We're gonna do the paint. We're gonna do the rebuild. We're gonna do running gear, transmission, engine. We're gonna do we're gonna build a flatbed for it probably, and a better front bumper. No offense.
I had none taken. I got that for. So back in the day, I was very successful. I played in the stock market a little bit. And I mean, as a 14-year-old kid with a couple $1,000s in my pocket, and I sold Monster energy drinks and cans of Coca-Cola at school because you weren't allowed to have caffeine or sugar. I made a lot of fucking money doing that. Mm-hmm. I made more money doing that than I think I did in the stock market as a kid. And I made, and every time someone had to make rent, things got really fucking cheap. And my brother always had to make rent. Always. Him and his roommates. How much is rent this month? He's like, well, it's like $500. And I'm like, how short are you? About 6. And I'm like, how are you $600 short on a $500 rent? And he goes, when you get older, you'll understand.
I'm still I'm $100 behind from last month.
Pretty much. So then he'd be like, yeah, I got this bumper I bought off this guy. And I'm like, how much? He's like, well, he paid like $4,000. I was like, I'll give you $600. He's like $650 and you got a deal. I'm like, done. Hey, I bought so much shit off of them. Every time they were selling something, I'd wait until rent was due. Then the day before, it got really fucking cheap.
Yeah.
I got subwoofers and bumpers. Oh, I got so much shit from him. It was great.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're doing that with the FFA. We're going to take it up next year. Actually, next year, state FFAs and Billings.
Oh, so you don't have to go far with it. Mm-mm. You can drive it.
Yep. And it's the JAM. What's the JAM stand for? Junior Egg Mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
How do you not know? Aren't you in the FFA?
It's my first year.
Yeah, it's first year.
Oh.
He'll get better next year.
He'll get better.
Or this year. But the JAM is the Junior Egg Mechanic. That's where like they go to show off their, stuff that they built. And some of these things, dude, they still had MIG wire.
Oh, yeah, the welds are disgusting.
I shit you not.
Like farmer welds?
Oh, dude. They forgot the gas. They forgot the ground or the gas, one of the two.
The Josh's like, they also forgot where the grinder was.
Oh, dude. Grinder and paint was not fixing that shit. They tried. They painted right over they had these fucking welding wires sticking up probably 3 inches on some of them. Like, holy shit.
Teacher's like, that shit's not free. And they're like, what? Ching.
Yeah.
Ching. It's fucking dollar signs rolling off there.
So next year, we're winning that shit. My goal is to win best of show. And then we're going to raffle off the truck to put it right back into the kitty for the FFA team so that they can pick another again. Something. And, maybe next time they build a couple of 3-axle trailers or something.
Right.
And then, they raffle that off over the year and get it done too.
Yeah, we need to get you guys a semi-frame. You built a badass single-axle camper puller. Especially if it's Peterbilt, some idiot would give you like $65,000 for it. Just because it says Peterbilt on the side.
See, that I talked to the kids and I was like, yeah, we'll auction it off. I was like, well, if we auction it off, we're gonna need a buyer. When you go to auctions, if you don't have a buyer, shit's going cheap.
Right.
If you raffle it off, if we sell tickets, $25 a piece, 1,000 tickets, that's $25,000.
Because like an auction, you're hoping you hit a dollar amount.
Yeah.
At a raffle, generally you will always hit the dollar amount. Just the question is,
how long is it going to take you to sell the tickets?
Yes.
So I kind of edged them in that direction.
And like you said, you could always adjust. If you need cheaper tickets but more, you may sell more than more expensive tickets and less,
So, maybe next year, Logan's already sent me pictures of an SA200 welder that we can rebuild the next year.
How do you rebuild a welder?
Oh, it ain't hard.
We tried. We tried once.
Yeah, but that was a Wisconsin motor that sucked.
Like, are you guys rebuilding the whole welder or just the generator part? Or like the whole thing?
It look pretty.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be like chromed out. It's going to be, all these pipeliners going to be like, oh, that's sexy. Yeah.
I've got to have it. And the tax write-off.
Yeah.
What's the write-off? Just write-off.
Yeah, it's just the tax people write it off.
Well, if you want it, I got a welder. I stole the copper leads off it.
No, we want something bigger.
Well, I was trying to give it away and nobody wanted it. A free welder. Mm-hmm. But because it was an AC instead of a DC, and like I tried approaching like the FFA and I was like, hey, some kid will take this fucking home and just sit there and burn rods and figure out how to weld. I was like, anyone can have this for free. All it does right now is hold my door open. Nope, don't want it. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was short.
Is it that one sitting outside? That's
the red one.
Yeah.
I just had to cut the leads off it because I needed some battery cables one day and I didn't want to go buy any.
Best battery cable there is, 3-aught welding lead.
No, those look like homemade fucking.
Oh.
They look like someone did the same thing I did with
jumper
battery
cable?
cables. Yeah. Like they cut some jumper cables up, put them on there, and I'm like, these things are god awful. I melted them. The semi-starting melted them.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of amps going through there, man.
Yeah. So now I had to double them up. I got 2 of those and then 2 real actual ground cables and then a massive fucking power wire. I tried
I don't know, that's kind of what I'm transitioning to, I think, in my life, is just helping kids.
Being the retired old guy that's just like, hey.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's funny too because you'll weed through them really quick.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if anyone's actually going to show up to build it.
Well, then you're going to have a badass truck to take.
I can think of maybe 2 people.
But that's kind of the point. Like, you're going to weed them out quick. The kids that are just there to be there, and the kids that are like, hey, he might seem like a grumpy ass old man, but I can go really far with the help he can give me. Mm-hmm. And it like a respect thing, you know. Some kids will respect it and be like, hey, he might get grumpy with me, but I realized these idiots that are over here fucking robbing liquor stores, and I'm making badass trucks that I can turn into my own side hustle one day and then turn into a business.
Running from the cops in a red Subaru?
It's not a good idea.
No, it's not.
On the news tonight?
Yeah, it'll be on the news tonight.
I'm surprised it's not already.
That's I don't know. That's one of those things that when I was graduating high school, it was you either join the military or you went to college. There was no, or you were a fry cook at McDonald's. There was no third or fourth or fifth option. Now, I think our country is turning towards more of a, I don't know, blue collar.
But it's like divided though.
Yeah.
Like either you go to college for something that's probably not going to get you anywhere, or you rack up a bunch of debt for something that's not going to pay, or you become a blue collar worker. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there's like no in between. Because once you like enter one way or the other, you get so trapped. There is no, because you aren't going to leave your blue collar job to go get a fine arts degree and realize that, hey, that doesn't pay. Why the fuck would I even go to college?
No.
Like, what's the purpose?
Well, that's a lot of people. Kids, I don't know why they gravitate towards me and ask me questions. Like, I want to go to college to be a welder. I was like, why?
Why go to college?
That's what I'm supposed to do next. I was like, dude, if you go to college to be a welder, okay, that's fine. But if you get on a job, you're going to take a weld test. And whether you pass that weld test or not is how you're going to get your job.
Right.
Not whether you have a piece of paper or not.
Right.
The only benefit I could see is being able to do layout and blueprint reading. That's the only thing. But you can learn that on the job.
Well, and I think it comes with the skills. Like I said, the kids in class, in welding class, that couldn't read a tape measure, mm-hmm. It didn't matter how much schooling you gave them, they were never going to read the tape measure. The kids that already could read the tape measure then went off to progress through the school or the mm-hmm. class. But the kids that couldn't do certain functions, like I said, the truck rebuild, the kids that are going to want to do it will do it. The kids that don't are going to be like, hey, this is way more work than I even want to put into shit. Like, I'm out, you know? Because like I said, going to school doesn't matter if you don't have, because a friend of mine wanted to do some kind of pyramid scheme. They sell health products or beauty products or some bullshit, whatever. And she kept saying like, yeah, well, hopefully I can do this. And hopefully I can. I said, it doesn't matter how many excuses you have. If all your excuses go away and you still don't have the motivation to do it, you'll never do it. So if you're telling yourself, well, I just got to wait till tomorrow, or I got to wait till this, if it's an excuse and you really don't want to do it anyways, you're never going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, like Maddie, she's going to go be a nurse. Okay. My wife works with nurses. They get done with their 4 years of schooling or 2 years of schooling and get their associates, but they immediately have to start doing their bridge program to have your bachelor's of science and nursing, BSN.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, they don't do associates anymore. You can come with an associate's, but then they say, hey, you have 1 year to get your BSN. So it basically just gets you out into the workforce faster. Right. But now you have to do the bridge program and work and pay your student loans and everything else.
Yeah.
So when you get done, nursing school, you could end up with, $60,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Before you even start.
Right.
And the only good thing is that they're so short right now, you can get a job.
Yeah, so you can go in, you like I said, you can work, and they'll probably work with you on your schedule to make your schooling work mm-hmm. while you're working.
My daughter at 17 got a $2,000 signing bonus being a CNA.
God damn. Oh, yeah, that's a chunk of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're smart about it, that could be, and you don't go.
And you know my princess doesn't pay for shit. So she's just like, I got a $2,000 signing bonus. Are you going to pick up that cell phone bill? No. It's like, what are you going to do when you go to college? I was like, I'm sleeping at your house, eating your groceries, and you're paying my insurance and cell phone bill till at least I'm 25. I'm like, Jesus Christ, right? At least you got a plan.
Maybe till I'm retired, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one always gets the best option.
Yeah, bullshit. Like we're going to do that to you. As long as you're trying to better yourself, I'm sure mom's going to have a... Yeah, I'm sure she is. Don't worry about that.
She'll put a Logan-sized doggy door in the back and be like, just use that one when you have to come get free groceries.
Yeah, my fridge. Why do you go into Costco again? Oh, Logan needed stuff. I was like, all right, whatever.
I can't say anything because my mom's that way.
I've already paid for her for 17 years. You for 13 years. So what the hell's another 20?
Well, it's funny because everyone says child support lasts 18 years. You pay for them for life. Mm-hmm. You pay for them until you go to the grave.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like to see this kind because right now everybody was like doing the coding and computer stuff and stuff like that. Now AI is coming out where AI is actually coding itself.
Yeah.
So all of these people that were doing that are being replaced by, robots and computers, which they said was going to replace all the blue collar people. Oh, well, you don't need to learn how to weld. Robots will do that shit.
Would you hear they're bringing a house sprinter into Billings?
The concrete one?
Yep. But now, so my little brother does coding and stuff. He said it's going to get lean, but the best coders are still going to be the guys at the top of the list because the AI, they'll be the guys that like check everything or whatever. And
Make sure it's not Terminatoring us.
Yes, pretty much. And he does some crazy shit with coding and computers. We're building an app right now.
Yeah, but how many people is that going to be?
Well, and it depends on. He is one of those people that his first day, he went into their security, someone's security, and was looking around or his job was to look around or whatever. And he's like, hey, by the way, do you know that this is like this happened to so and so last week that you can walk around all of your protections and they can have all of our information? And they're like, well, what do you suggest? And the old guy's like, well, back in my day. And he's like, back in your fucking day, you used, what is it, an abacus? You didn't have to worry about a fucking firewall. So,
It was not an Apple One. You went from playing Oregon Trail to coding.
Yeah. So he went through and redid their whole security system. And they oh, thank you for that. He's highfalutin something another. He's pretty well off now. He doesn't have to worry about much.
I think it's going to go back to people that work with their hands are going to be.
Well, like I said, I think in his case, the few that are the top dogs that, like I said, he puts in the work, he has no problem doing the work, and he has no problem doing it well and excelling and whatever. Yeah, because those guys will stay at the top though, because they're still going to need people like that.
You figure there's 1 million coders maybe in the U.S.
I have no idea.
Just round numbers,
right?
So they'll keep 10,000,
probably. But each company will need.
So that's 990,000 people trying to find out something else to fucking do.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, him, you know how it is. The people, even in the blue collars, the guys that are at the top are going to then be sought after compared to the guys that are just the warm bodies to make you feel good about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got, through college, when he was in college, he had 3 jobs that paid him over $50 an hour. As he's learning how to do their job they've hired him for. And there's a shortage of them, but at the same time, like I said, it's also a weird shortage because it's just the fact that things were booming. Now we're slowing down again. It's going to go back to.
Well, it's just like your industry and my industry. If you get a name of being a shitbag in my industry, you're going to starve.
Yeah.
If you get a name in your industry of not making it on time, short loads, not bringing stuff when you're supposed to, you're going to starve too.
Yeah.
So,
the reputation has to be there.
Exactly.
But I was talking to the John Deere sales rep one day. He said that because of the technological advances in the world and all the bullshit and kids play video games all day, They are re-engineering equipment to match video game styles. So
The military did that 10 years ago.
Oh.
The military did that with the drones
oh yeah, so
or
they could,
Xbox controllers.
so the kids, because kids could hop right on
Yeah.
it and they could just fly them.
100%.
Yeah, and that's what they said. They're trying to get the blue collar to match that style, because then kids hop in an excavator like, hey, this is really cool. I'm gonna fucking do this.
Mhm.
And I get like, and I know a lot of people are like, hey, I'm not gonna let my kids play video games, and they're my age. I mean, their kids are like 2 right now. And I said the problem is we're in a technological world. All you're going to do is hinder your child. Not that they need to play video games, but you have to let them around technology, because there is a level of technology that, like a base level now, that you have to know how to use. Mm-hmm. And you can't. I mean, even your scan tool. If your kid doesn't know how to turn on a computer, it's going to be hard to be a mechanic nowadays, because anyone that can't run the scan tool, you're limiting your ability to work on stuff. And it's not just relying on the scan tool, but the computer does play a part in everything nowadays.
In 10 years to 15 years, my specialty will be obsolete.
Which part? Oh, the old machine?
I specialize in old iron,
Yeah.
pre-computers, stuff
And-
like that.
And it's already doing away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 10 to 15 years, I will be obsolete. You know, there might be a couple guys still using it or whatever, but
But they'll probably know how to do it themselves, or as it breaks, they'll just have to move on to something else.
I watch auctions and I go to auctions and stuff like that. It was probably 5 years ago. Went to an auction, and all of the old iron was going to like the Congo or South America or Africa or something, because they couldn't have stuff with computers in the bush.
Right.
Have you ever seen that Pakistani truck YouTube channel? They're like rebuilding.
Oh yeah.
They're like rebuilding loaders and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, torque is an option there.
Yeah.
Some old guy that's got a calibrated arm. Yeah, that's good. That's the rods. That's the mains.
We're good enough. Hey, him just hitting it with whatever they got to
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Or like the 20 leaf spring pack.
Oh my god!
And they tear them apart because they have to clean them.
Yeah.
And then they have to put them back together, and the U-bolts are fucking 4 feet long. The underwater excavators and dozers. Mm-hmm. They run the gen packs. Those all have to be old iron. You know, like I said, they're it's very limited on what people need actual old non-electronic setups for. And I was talking to my grandpa, and he was talking about the company he worked for would buy like brand new cat. They would run it for 2 years, whatever, warranty's up. They would sell it for like what they paid to Africa for the mine. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, well, how do you sell it for what? Why didn't they just go buy it brand new? Well, same thing with coding, I found out. You can only outsource certain things because everyone is so backward engineering and shady that CAT doesn't want people to steal their patents and stuff. So you can't sell shit to overseas until they've had enough time to come out with a new patent. So all these people that are waiting for the next best CAT thing to come out have to wait until it's used to buy it. And I guess China, like I said, the computer thing, China's not allowed to have anything. We're not allowed to send anything, outsource anything to China. When they send computers over there to be built, my little brother said they have to be blank because they'll take all the coding off it, copy it, and then resell it.
You should talk to the guy, talk to your brother, and ask him if he knows about the American guy that was sending Xboxes to Iraq and Pakistan, and then they were selling them to Iran because Xbox used one of the same processors or whatever for drones.
Oh,
Really? Mm-hmm. So Iran was building drones off these Xboxes.
Mm-hmm. But they couldn't buy the individual component because of the embargo, but they could buy the entire Xbox, and then they break it down. Do you know if you go 500 miles an hour, your phone will shut off?
Yeah.
Because they don't want it being used as a targeting for missiles.
I heard the GPS, when they put the GPS thing in, at first it was a distance thing. They couldn't tell you exactly where you were. It draws a circle and you're hopefully in that dot somewhere. But then they said that created problems because what happens when you're using it for navigation, you can't just be a quarter-mile circle. You have to be right there on the road. So then they limited it to if you hit certain parameters, the GPS triggers a fail-safe, and then it just continues.
It was speeds.
And they said altitudes too will cause it to, because if it hits a certain altitude, you either don't need the GPS at that point, or you are something that shouldn't have a GPS strapped to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they said speed and altitude were the two that triggered it.
Mm-hmm. And that's a natural technology thing that came out of it.
Right, because I learned this back in high school. The teacher told me, because someone said something about GPS, like how is it so accurate if it's not? And they're like, no, it is. We just haven't figured out how to make it so you can't turn it into a problem for the America. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you strap it. Anyone back in the day that knew anything, that especially these countries that obviously are war-ridden countries, most of them people know how to make bombs.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as they knew how to make missiles, they're sitting there going, God, America made all these cool devices with all their addresses saved in it. All you got to do is plug it into this computer, and it will fucking fly straight there. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, they've been coming out. It's always a problem. Technology has always been a problem. Mm-hmm. And the guy that just got caught on Discord,
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
that everyone's all upset about it because they're like, so I thought TikTok was the threat. And they're like, no, TikTok wasn't the threat.
The funny thing is that kid is a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman. Like, how did he have access to that stuff?
Well, they said his clearance level was fairly high. And everyone's like, so, but why did he have, like I said, why does he have clearance to something that he's like fresh out of fucking boot camp, and you gave him clearance to like top secret shit? And they said the conversation on Discord, someone said he was lying about his position. So to prove it, he started posting government secrets.
That has been a problem for a while. What was the name of that game?
Minecraft.
No.
That was a game he was
So-
playing.
One thing is, back in like 2017, there's a game called War Thunder, and it's all about tanks, boats, planes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And someone was losing an argument, and it was a tank commander in the UK. So they were losing an argument, or there's multiple cases of this, multiple. So
Who's got a bigger dick?
Oh, dude.
in this case, it was a tank commander of a Leopard like A2, and he was playing the game, and he complained about the armor not being right. So he emailed or just
I think he just posted it online.
posted it about
Like weak armor, and that if you did this, you could disable the tank.
It's actually like this many inches thick instead of that,
Right.
or it's at this angle.
I think one of the guys was like, "Oh, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, look at this. Here's the specs."
The best part is, what does that prove? Because my thing is when people are like, oh yeah, well let me show you proof. I'm like, dude, anyone can go on the internet and pull up some random documents or bullshit or conspiracy theory, whatever. But they said someone in the server, because Minecraft, open Minecraft world, someone in the server was then taking his information and funneling it outwards. But so my question is, he might have been giving out secrets, and everyone in there goes, oh, this dude's full of shit. Who's the fucking guy that goes, I know this is real, I'm going to start selling this information? Like, how does someone get on a Minecraft server and go, and they know that what he's saying is true while everyone else probably thinks he's full of shit, and they know they can sell this information, like, to China, whatever. Like, how do you... Why is that guy on the server? Like, what is... But, like, I always watch, like, NCIS, and they're like, oh, yeah, he was a target. They've been spying on him for however long, and, fucking Jing Jong Chao's only job is to watch all of his Discord servers that he uses, and they wait for him to slip up. And I'm like, that's fucking true. These people have nothing better to do than to wait for these guys, because that's how dumb they are. They will literally antagonize them, and they're like, oh, let me show you. And they're like, oh, perfect, give me that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not that smart.
A lot of people.
Our egos get in our way. It's
The best part was I heard someone say, they're like, I wonder if they did it on purpose. If they knew that he was like giving out shit. So they gave him a clearance rating and gave him a bunch of false information and then let him sell it. Because then this guy said, they're going, oh man, everything else checked out. We're going to fucking, So then they're like, I wonder if it was a ploy. So now the conspiracy is that the government let him tell this and let him spill the beans because they wanted false information out there about all this bullshit.
wouldn't be the first time we've done that.
Oh, everyone does it. But like I said, at this point, once again, how do you know if it's true or not? How does anybody like unless you are on the other side and you're in the Ukraine where he's been giving information out on, and you're going, yeah, that part number checks out on that part number on that missile we just ordered. Fuck, someone's giving out secrets, God, that bumper number looks familiar.
Well, when that broke, the only thing I could think about was every cocksucker with a security clearance is about to have to do training again. Like, that was the first. I didn't really care about what he gave out. It was like all of those poor bastards now have to go through security training again to get recertified. And to get a security clearance is not an easy task.
Right, because we talked about that on the one episode. You're like, my family makes it so I can't even get a security clearance.
To maintain a security clearance is bad also because if your debt to income ratio gets too great, you become susceptible to taking bribes and things like that. They'll jerk your clearance. If you have, oh my God, if you get divorced and you have a security clearance and you end up having to file bankruptcy because you lost all your shit to your crappy ex-wife, you're done.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, then how do all these people have security clearances? How does Hillary have 30,000 emails that she's not supposed to have?
I didn't want one.
Right, because it's like a liability.
Oh, dude, it was such a pain in the ass.
Because you're like a scapegoat, too. Mm-hmm. Anything goes wrong, all they got to do is say, well, Josh pissed me off last week. We're just going to we're gonna point at him until we find out who really did it. And then it's like, oh, sorry. Have fun.
I didn't. They were like, well, you need to get a security clearance. I was like, nope. I will stick with the mission-specific shit. I am not doing... Nope, I'm not doing TSS, TSI, TSSI, or whatever the hell it is. Because people that go, I have a top secret security clearance. The fuck you do. There's no such thing as a top secret security clearance.
That's a movie thing.
Yes. You have like a TSS or a TSI, level 4, whatever it is.
Right.
That is your security clearance. There is no top secret. I had a your eyes only. I was like, the fuck you did. Shut up. Well, yeah, I was Navy SEAL Ranger,
Green Beret Battalion.
Oh my God. I'm like, shut up. My favorite is you get talking to people that are, Joe Schmo walking around, because I don't walk around and advertise I was a vet.
Right.
And people start talking to me and they're like, oh, I was a vet. I was like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, good for you, dude. Yeah, I was a sniper ranger, Marine recon. I was like, fuck me.
Like, have you ever seen Jason Bourne?
So the first thing I do is like, yeah, man, I tried that, but I didn't make it. And then they're like, oh, you didn't make it. Yeah, it was pretty hard for me too. Like, yeah, dude, that fourth week of jump week was a bitch. And they're like, yeah, it almost killed me too. I was like, yeah. And doing free fall out of White Sands, New Mexico, that was hard too. It's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, airborne's 3 weeks and free fall's in Yuma. Shut the fuck up. Well, no, not when I was in. It was super secret Delta mission. I'm like, man, shut the fuck up.
Super secret Delta mission.
I've met guys that were actually, DevGru and, D-Boy, Delta, KEG, whatever you want to call them. And they are the most humble, quiet people that I've ever met. Like what do you do in the Navy? Scrub the bottom of the boat. No shit. Yep. 10 more years and I get to retire. Oh, good on you, dude. Yeah, he's fucking Red Squadron DevGru. And then ask another guy, like, what do you do in the Army? Cook. Oh shit. Like, yep, cook. Used to be S1, but I changed to cook. I like the culinary arts. No shit. And then you see him like 2 days later and he's all blacked out and shit. I was like, that is not a fucking cook.
That cook is under fucking cover.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I have never, ever met one person that has done stolen valor that was like, I was a PAC clerk. That's like an office job.
Yeah.
Or I was a cook. No, they're always Marine, Recon, Ranger, Delta, Sniper.
Whatever the most, awarded, whatever they can find to feel powerful.
I got a Medal of Honor, but you can't talk about it. What do you mean you got a fucking Medal of Honor? Can't talk. Shut up.
I got a Medal in Honor.
Yeah. I got the other funny one is people online or whatever. People will be starting like, yeah, I was a space shuttle door gunner. You want to compare dicks? I was a space shuttle door gunner. What?
Just a fucking Space Force. Oh God. And like you said, most people, because I know you, I know Brian now, I know Cody, and I know a few others. And there's a guy that works at the hydraulic place I shop at, that he's like, yeah, you know, when I served, and I was like, oh, you served? And I think he said he was from overseas. He joined and then swapped from wherever he was, joined U.S. military, became a citizen, and then worked his way in, you know, and now he's in Billings kind of
That's
thing.
plausible.
Yeah.
Because I've known guys to do that.
And he's never told me what he did, who he was, anything. I don't, like I said, I don't know anybody that served like active duty that ever talks about in the way that you see people that, like, even like I said, the slick sleeves. Oh yeah, when I was out on this base and, you know, there was a battalion brawl and I had to go tell them to stop. And I was like, then what?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me these guys came back fucking beating the fuck out of everyone they ran into, and you're going to tell me you're the one person that wouldn't put a stop to this? Well, no, but I was like, everyone's like, well, did you serve? I was like, it doesn't fucking matter if I served, because I didn't. I will tell you I didn't, but I'm not going to stand here and like tell people that I sent you the video, the heroes that almost joined.
Oh my God. You have no idea how accurate that is. That is, I mean, I watched that and I was just like, fucking A, I know.
I sit at home every day practicing Taekwondo because I want to make sure that I'm ready when the war comes to my front door.
Did you hear that I almost joined?
Yep.
I would have punched the drill sergeant. The fuck you would have.
Right. I tell Cody that all the time. I don't like when I get really into it with people and they're like, yeah, back in the war, and they look at me like, oh, you didn't serve, you wouldn't. I was like, I almost joined. I did. I was like, my pen was on the paper, and then my grandma got sick, and I was like, I'm out. I tell you, I didn't give 2 fucks. I was done. I realized at that moment, as soon as like she was sick, I think he was, I think everyone called him Sarge, but he came out and he goes, hey man, you got to make a choice. He's like, either join or don't join. It's up to you, but fucking do something.
Stop wasting my fucking time.
That's literally what he said. And I was like, you're right. I am fucking out of here. And I never talked, like I talked to the one guy a few times that was recruiting me, but his superior or whatever was cool as shit. He goes, but man, I don't like, he goes, I could see you joining, but I also see you don't probably want to. And I never went back.
Dude, there's nothing worse. I did not understand this when I went in. It's fucking 23 years ago. God, I'm old. And when I went in, there was people that would drop in Butte at MEPS. Like,
I heard that.
I do not want to do this. I do not, like, they were sobbing. I'm not going to go. You can't make me go. I've made a mistake. And the recruiters are like, because now they have to do paperwork on why they had a DEP drop.
Right.
Delayed entry program dropped out before he even went. And we had people that would wash out of basic. Like, I don't understand how you're not prepared mentally and physically for what you're about to endure.
But I think a lot of people, I mean, my case was, I would say, kind of in that way. Like, I had the mindset, like,
Your recruiter loved you for not wasting their time.
but like I said, I had the mindset, like, I was going and I didn't give a fuck. I was doing whatever it was to get out of Billings. I was getting away from some shit. Mm-hmm. I was on my way out the door, and all I ever heard was like the war stories and the brotherhood and all that. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go join that. That's at least I'll be a part of something kind of deal. And then, like I said, it kind of changed, but I don't get the people that are like, oh man, I better run away. And the Army told me that I can travel the world for free. And I'm like, it's not like that.
They're going to send you to the shittiest locations.
And I don't, but like I said,
we have never invaded Jamaica. You are going to go to a shithole.
Oh man.
Poland? Fuck Poland.
They're part of NATO now, aren't they?
They've been a part of NATO ever since, the whole Russian World War II
yeah.
Thing. Everybody keeps invading us.
But that's like I said, though. I think a lot of people like the delayed entry. I'm going to show my parents. I'm going to show them I'm an adult, even though I'm not. And I'm going to sign up for some shit and do some things. And then they realize, I want my mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me on the other hand, my dad looked me in the eye and goes, maybe they'll turn you into a man, because I didn't. And I'm like in the office, like the Marine behind the desk is going, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom, I guess. I'll be back in a minute.
You'll fit right in. You're coming with your own trauma.
And my mom's sitting there, and he's like, hey, women are the hardest to convince, but I think I can convince your mom. I said, dude, you don't have to worry about it. My mom walked in there and goes, where do I sign? And he's like, what? She goes, he said he wants to do it. I've never known him to not be like, his convictions are just, he narrow-minded. He will literally do this till he dies now. And he's like, so why don't I have to sell you one? And she's like, it's not my choice. It's his. And he's like, the fuck is wrong with your family? He's like, no wonder you want to join. And then like my grandma got sick and she's like, hey, I really would like to not see you leave. And I was like, if you wouldn't have said that, I would have joined the Marines. But as soon as she like asked me not to, I was like, all right, I fucking, you know how it is. I just like completely mental flip. I was like, I don't think I want to do this now. Mm-hmm. I was game though. Hey, I was all the fucking way.
Well, my nephew Jaeger, he joined. And he's like, hey, I'm going to go see the recruiter. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, I'm going to be a grunt. I was like, the fuck do you are? No.
Why does everybody want to be a grunt for?
I don't know.
And I got told I couldn't be one.
And the fucked up part is that I was like, hey, talk to your aunt, my wife, about what she saw the grunts doing on Fort Riley at 116 Infantry. And he's like, why? I was just ask your aunt.
What was it?
Cut grass, sweep parking lots. If you're not downrange on a mission, you ain't doing shit.
Right.
You're not.
What'd you say the tankers became for the Marines when they disbanded the tanks?
Oh, they became like MPs.
But it was what would you have where needed?
Oh yeah. Oh, needs of the Corps.
Yeah. So like, is that what the grunts are? Just basically wherever you're needed, if you're not active, is.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Is if you don't have a mission, you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're sweeping the motor pool. Mechanics, we always had a mission, whether we were downrange or back in garrison. Shit was breaking. The welders were doing shit. The pack clerks were, doing paperwork and stuff like that.
Like Pogues had jobs, whether you were active or not, basically, because your job is, like I said, is like the normal world. Mm-hmm. You have to keep them running for when they need to go to mission.
If my body would have held out, the Army was honestly the easiest job I ever had.
Really?
Dude, 100%. I got up, I worked out for an hour or whatever. I do a PT test every 6 months, go run 2 miles, do 42 push-ups and 53 sit-ups. I was done. And I would work from 9 to 5. I'd get off at 5 o'clock, sometimes early.
Right.
And, that was it. I still got paid. I was salary.
And they're all mowing grass, and you're like, God damn, I'm glad I'm not
dude,
that guy.
I need 7 for a detail. Like, I got that Bradley that's broke. I think there's some grunts over in Alpha Company over there somewhere.
Someone's cutting grass with scissors, and I don't know why, but he's over that way.
Yeah. So we went and actually talked to the recruiter. Jaeger took me with him. And I was like, okay. I'm like, dude, don't tell this guy I'm a vet, okay? I was okay. So we go in there. He's like, yeah, infantry's the way to go, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I was like, no shit. I was like, okay, what about a 92 Yankee? What? How do you know about that? It's a supply specialist.
Yeah. You said they changed that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, what was it? I was like, well, you're learning how to run supply, how to do, warehousing, stuff like that. Shit that actually like matters when you come back to the real world. He's like, how do you know about this? And I was like, I did a couple of years. And then I didn't see anything, big or nothing like that. And he's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I deployed to Kuwait. And I'm like, yeah, I bet that was pretty hard. What pool did you go to? What? Like, the pool. Were you in, Camp Arifjan, Kuwait, or were you over on Liberty? Well, how do you know about that? I was like, I flew over at one time.
Josh's like, I'm very interested in my field.
Yeah.
You're like, I served long enough just to like get a map and figure out where I needed to be.
I Googled it.
I really enjoyed sightseeing.
Yeah. I was on a podcast. We pulled it up on the map on the TV one time.
Yeah, so he ended up picking a job where he's like doing computer fucking network something IT, yeah.
See, they wanted to put me for something like that when I was going to join. And the guy's like, your ASVABs are too high. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, if you choose infantry, it means you're going to kill people, and we don't want that. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, there's a lot of people that think joining the military means a free ticket to go kill people. And he goes, it fucks you up mentally. And I was like, so what do I get to do? He's like, well, you can pick like an office job. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want an office job. I was like, I don't want active duty to go kill people, but I'm not going to join to be the guy that's like, yeah, back when all these guys were getting shot and killed and going building to building, I was the guy running the drone that watched it while I couldn't do anything about it. Like, I didn't want to be that guy. I was so not like, I hate to say it, but like, what is it, like the hero syndrome?
Uh-huh.
If I'm not going to be there, like, kicking doors in, what was the fucking point?
Oh, it fucking sucked.
Oh, like, what was the
Fucking
point?
sucks so bad.
My problem was, though, is you've already, as I'm kind of glad I didn't, because Cody said the same thing. By the time he joined, it had changed so much that you were no longer a hero. If you were infantry, you were like cannon fodder.
Oh, yeah.
They were just hoping that something would happen. Like, you no longer got to go kick doors in and do shit.
You remember that South Park where it was, you know, they were fighting Canada, it was Operation Darky or whatever, where they put all the black guys on the front line to like cannon fodder? Same fucking thing.
Oh, man. And he's like, God, he's like, I tell people I loved being there, but I would never tell someone's kid to go join.
Fuck no.
Like,
This douchebag over here is like, Dad, should I join the military? I love you. I will support anything that you decide to do. But I have done enough for our family name for a few generations. Okay? We're good, homie.
we're good, homie. Well, and
And dude, I tell people, they're like, hey, my kid's thinking about joining the military. No shit. Yeah, he's going to go, why is it always Marines or fucking Army?
well, because Marines are the tough guys.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what I never saw over there? Coast Guard. Never saw fucking Coast
I thought you
Guard.
said the Florida Coast Guard.
No, it's Florida
Oh,
National Guard.
Oh, the Coast.
I never saw the Coast Guard in Iraq.
And
Never.
actually, honestly, though, the Coast Guard is a prestigious, like, entity because they do a lot of sketchy shit in the ocean and stuff. Like, I watched a documentary on them, and, like, it is, like, the closest thing I think you could get to a not, like, being shot at active duty kind of thing because they're diving into shit and they're grabbing. And like I said, they compared what they do on the open waters to, like, I don't want to say like active duty, but it was like a minor, you know, you're in places you don't want to be, you're doing shit you don't want to do. The guy flying the helicopter is trying to figure out how to keep this fucker in the air while it's not supposed to be. Like, they were talking about, yeah, they're fucking.
Do you know the cool thing about the Coast Guard is?
What?
They still have mechanics. You want to fix helicopters?
That would be cool.
Coast Guard. You want to work on maritime boats? Coast Guard. You want to be an armorer? Coast Guard. You want to be a sniper? Coast Guard. You want to be salvage expert? Coast Guard. It's like,
That's actually a good logic stream.
yes. That's what I tell people. I was like, why do you want to join the military? I want to fuck people up for this country. No.
You're not going to make it.
No.
Like, it's the mindset is totally. I wanted to go to, and I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a sniper per se, but I wanted them to show me how to do shit. Mm-hmm. I was like I said, when I left, I was gonna fuck people up at home. Like, I was like, well, I was bullied as a kid. I was like, you know what? Next guy that fucking bullies me, fuck him. I'm gonna fuck him up. That was my whole.
It's funny because everybody's like, oh, you were just a mechanic. I was like, yep, I was just a mechanic. But I got to do some real cool shit as a mechanic.
Well, you got some fucking stories. Yeah.
And I was at the right place at the right time. I tell everybody, if you join the military, never say no. They're like, what? It's like, never say fucking no.
I think it's like a good life lesson, though.
Yeah.
Because like I said, everyone's like the quiet quitting. Oh, well, I'm only going to do what I'm told to do. And I tell everybody, if you're going to quiet quit, the first thing you have to fucking do is show up on time. Or you're not quiet quitting, you're just lazy. Like, I wasn't allowed to say no. When I worked for my dad, hey, can you do this? No, I can't. And he'd go, yeah, that's not in my vocabulary. So do you want to rephrase that? And I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, we legally cannot do what you're asking. He goes, well, then figure it out because I already told the customer you would. And that was a fun fucking day. And it was scary. Because I asked the officer afterwards that I ran into. So just hypothetically, if someone did something such as this in a certain manner, what would happen? He's like, well, usually the first time we don't take you to jail, but that is actually dumb enough that we'll take you to jail. And I was like, I don't want to go to jail.
No. Just sucks.
I told my dad that, and he's like, okay, so we'll make a note we're not doing that one again. So you got away with it once, we'll just leave it at once. I was so overweight, the airbags wouldn't inflate.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was very bad. None of our equipment should have been hauling the excavator I had on the trailer. My dad goes, I told him we could. And I was like, yeah, just because you say we can doesn't mean we can. He goes, why not? And I'm like, because I'm saying we can't. He goes, yeah, that doesn't sit well with me.
That's like when I send you pictures of stuff. Like, I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to like moving equipment and shit. Because I'm in the United States Postal Service realm of if it fits, it ships. That's where I'm at.
Except Josh's box is 15 by 15 because that's interstate measurements.
Yeah.
If it's less than 15, we're good, right? And I'm like, kind of. Is it a tractor or is it a fucking haul truck?
More tires better, right?
No, well, I wish. It depends.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, anybody that listens to this, if you're thinking about joining the military, what is your exit strategy?
Right.
What are you going to do afterwards?
When they always tell you that the Army is going to teach you how to be a better person in the world, but like I said, I know a lot of people that left the military and like, hey, I know how to fuck people up, but that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Being infantry did not teach me anything about anything. I mean, Cody, he's like, all they do now is pay for me to go to school and get a job.
Yep.
And he's like, I go do it until I'm bored, and then they pay for me to go to school and get another job. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but he's like, being infantry did not teach me how to be in the real world like they say it's going to.
No.
And I tell people, like, from the conversations I have, if you have to ask someone, like said Logan's like, hey, do you think I should? Well, if you're asking, I feel like mentally, like I said, you're not there. You're not going to make it if you're like, yeah, my dad said I probably should because it'd make me a better person. Well, you're probably not going to fucking make it then.
If he comes to me and says, Dad, I'm going to join the military, what job should I have? That is a different conversation.
Right.
What do you want to do after? I tried to join the Navy first.
Oh, you did?
I did. I tried to join the Navy. I went to the Navy recruiter. I took the ASVAB for the Navy. Like, I was going to join the fucking Navy.
They make us take it in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got me out of the SATs or ACTs or whatever. They're like, oh, that kid's never going to fucking college, so do ASVAB. So I did the ASVAB and I did the Navy, and they're like, hey, cool, you know. My ASVAB score was good. I did like delayed entry and shit. Where the fuck are you going? Oh. I like did delayed entry and shit, and they're like, okay, let's go to MAPS. I was like, sweet, you know, and go up to MAPS, and I did my hearing test, and I couldn't hear like 2 of the tones out of my left ear because I was already deaf, and they're like, hey. I failed MEPS my first time, like medical.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. Like now I'm one of these fucking losers that can't do shit right. So I get done with MEPS and I'm like, hey, like I'm begging. I was like, is there anything I can do to like, there's like, no, we can't do a waiver or nothing. I was like, fuck. So I walked down to the Army and I was not joining the Marines. I don't fucking care.
You don't want to tell anybody?
No. So I walked down to the Army. I was like, hey, I tried to join the Navy. And they're like, fucking see, man. I'm like, whatever, dude.
The men's department?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, fine. And they're like, yeah, I did that. I've already gone to, you know, medical and stuff, but I failed medical. And they're like, well, what'd you fail? Hearing test. I didn't hear these 2 tones. They're like, oh, fuck, we got a waiver for that, dude. Like 2 days later, my waiver was like sent in and like stamped, good to go. And they're like, okay, ASVAB's done. I was like, yeah, ASVAB's done. All that shit's done. They're like, okay, you want to pick a job? I'm like, yeah. And
I want to work on shit.
yeah. And that's when they're like, trying to get me a tank mechanic. I was like, I do not want to be a fucking tank mechanic.
See, and that's where, like, if I would have had someone like you when I thought about joining, I probably would have joined. Just because I would have had, like, the guidance to say, hey, I would have been a mechanic. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I know they have mechanics. But you watch the movies, and they've got, like, it's like a union. They've got the grunts, and they're like, hey, fix my tank while you're at it. And you're like, so is he getting shot at, or is he fixing a tank? Like, oh, he's doing both while the rest of us go hide behind a shelter. And this guy's out there fucking doesn't know a wrench from a ratchet and is trying to figure out how to fucking fix this thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But like I said, there was no guidance. And even the guy, like I said, even the recruiter, hey, here's the positions that we have to fill. Here's the promotion credits I get if I get you to fill one of these over a different one. And here's the guy that gets a promotion credit for bringing you down here. And I'm like, so where is my say in this? Like, well, you don't get one. Mm-hmm. And like, we're going to not mislead you, but we're not going to tell you about everything because we don't want you to know about everything.
No, because they want to fill the jobs that are needed in that. Do you know where most of the cooks come from? deep south. They're black.
Really?
Yep. That I do not know why, but every cook I ever ran into was either a Mexican or a black guy.
God, did they give you spices?
No, God no.
I
But
just love cook TikTok because all the black guys are like, you white people don't use enough spices. He's like, this is what you got to do. And then the lady brings out taco sauce.
they could not. You fucking army food cannot be saved.
My great grandfather was chief commissary on. It wasn't a battleship. It was one of the other boats that went with the battleship.
He ran the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his job.
Yeah.
Grandpa, what'd you do in the Navy?
But he was in Pearl Harbor and he never talked about his service. So I don't know. I don't know if he did some shit that maybe you don't admit as he's running this store or what. But he never talked about it at all. After he passed away, that we were allowed to talk about it, and I heard all the stories. But like when he was alive, nope, not a word.
This girl that I went to college with, we were talking one day. She was Air Force. No, she was Navy, I think. And we're talking about her jobs and stuff. And, I was a grunt, mechanic. And then there was a guy that was an engineer, Another guy went in to be a AAV mechanic, but he ended up being a boxer for the Marine Corps.
I would do that.
Ronaldo, his entire 4 years, he was on the Marine Corps boxing team.
Yeah, because they have like pro teams that do like martial arts and
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Did not see that was not offered to me.
Josh, like I could probably do boxing heavyweight, but I'm not doing jiu-jitsu.
No. But this girl, I'm like, what'd you do? She goes, oh, I was my recruiter fucked me. I was like, how did your recruiter fuck you? I was the ejection seat repairman. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah,
When you said fucked her, though, I thought you literally meant like, you're like, wait, what?
that probably happened too. But when she went in and talked to the recruiter, they're like, hey, she's like, I want to fix jets. And they're like, too easy. We'll put you on the F-16. They're like, okay. She didn't like read the rest of it. And she gets done with basic. She goes to her A school. And they're like, all right, we're going to learn how to fix the ejection seats. So she was like, okay, we're learning how to fix the injection seats. The engines come later. Nope. That was her entire fucking job, was fixing the ejection seats. You know how many people want an ejection seat repairman on the outside? 0. That is not a transferable skill.
But like, that would literally be like you being like, hey, I'm going to be a mechanic, right? And they're like, yes, we're going to teach you how to fix not the drive gear of the dozer, but the idler gears on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And that's all you're ever going to do is change just those idler gears.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you have to watch when you sign up for shit because they're shady as fuck.
Oh, my waiver. When I was going to sign up, I have scars all over and stuff, And I work on vehicles, you walk away bleeding more than like, you're sitting there going, where the fuck is this blood coming from?
Oh, they asked me if I self-harmed or whatever.
Yep. So I fell through a trailer, and I actually shaved the roundness off the front of my shins, so they're flat. And then on both of them, I did it twice. It sucked. And then I have a scar where I caught a piece of rebar, and it went from my ankle to my knee.
So they thought you had like a plate in your femur or something.
That's what it was. Yeah, he thought I had a surgery. And he's like, hey, what's that scar from? I said, oh, well, the rebar actually filleted my skin like an inch flat. And I said, I just threw some dirt in it and covered it back up. And he's like, that just sounds dumb as fuck. And I was like, oh, it was. And he goes, like, it's scarred bad. And he's like, so what happened then? And I was like, oh, it got really infected. So I took a wooden toothpick and had to rip it open and clean it out myself and then let it heal properly after I washed it. And he's like, okay. I was like, my grandma's a nurse. He's like, your grandma's a fucking nurse and you didn't go to the hospital? And I was like, she watched. She helped me. She gave me some like hydrogen peroxide and like fucking...
Shit's expensive, dude.
That's what I said. Like, who's going to the fucking hospital? And so he had a waiver like pre-filled out that said I fell off a trailer and happened to cut myself in every place they could find a scar.
Uh-huh.
Every issue I had was because I fell on the trailer. And he goes, when they ask you questions, only ever say you fell on the trailer. He goes, if you elaborate, we're kicking you out. And I'm like, for what? And he goes, you have too many scars. They're going to think something happened or you had surgeries. And I'm like, you think the hospital would have fucking records of that? He's like, maybe you're lying. I was like, you guys don't have access to hospital records? Like, they're...
Oh, dude, you get up there, you get to Butte, and they take you in a little room away from your recruiter, and they're like, okay, everything he told you not to tell us, you tell us now, because as soon as you sign this paper, we're gonna, we can put you in the brig in 40 years of hard labor, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. So I smoked pot, and they're like, oh, you're done. I've been in therapy and on antidepressants for 7 years. Oh, you're done. I'm allergic to peanuts. Oh, you're done. Oh, yeah.
And then the recruiter going, what the fuck did you tell him?
Yeah. And then you got to write back with them.
Oh, yeah.
From Butte to Billings.
Oh, that's not a fun drive.
No.
I used to make it twice a week.
Yeah.
Off topic, but when I was at Bible camp.
Hold on, you went to Bible camp?
Oh, hey. Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
But, so we were in the barn.
It's actually a barn.
Yeah, it's literally a barn.
It's an old mule barn.
Yeah.
If I make jokes, am I going to bring up any past traumas?
No, there was not a priest.
Okay, well, I was going to ask if the counselor touched him in the barn.
No.
He's like, next for your inspection. Logan's like, why are we naked at Bible camp?
All the counselors know me and are terrified.
But something came up. I don't know what it was. But some guy was...
I can smell you.
Some guy was working on his ranch or farm, and he fell down off his tractor, I think.
I mean, interrupt you, but you got a message, Josh. Right there. Right behind Logan.
Oh, hey, Shelby, what's up?
But a post went through his shoulder, all the way through. About...
Like a fence post?
Yeah, fence post. Like this.
Yeah.
About that thick. And he has pretty good scar, right here and here. It's...
Like I said, they'll kick you out for that.
Oh, with the retention and recruiting numbers right now, he could probably get a waiver. When the surge was going on, oh my God. Thank God I was getting out.
Well, and this goes back to when, and actually there's a lot of people that talk about this, the shift in America. Mm-hmm. You used to have boys, 13-year-old boys, somehow lied their way into the military and got sent
to go to fucking World War II.
Yeah. And got sent to D-Day. And they never, people, large groups of people, kids never came back. Mm-hmm. And then you got people nowadays, they're like, hey, your scar is 6 inches. We only allow 5-inch scars. You're going to have to get out of here. And you're like, what? You measured my scar? And they're like, yeah, that could be a sign of past trauma. You're going to have to bail. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait, so could past trauma include my...
Oh, yeah. Yep, where you tried to cut your fucking leg off with a chainsaw.
Well, they said, too, me, I have... It's a genetic thing we found out. Not from me, but from my sister. Because my little brother and my sister have bad knees. They say it's genetic. We have a muscle that's weaker than average, so it allows our knees to give out or some bullshit. That is enough for them to say, oh, yep, you're out. Fucking be done. Because they can't have you running through a battlefield and your knees fucking buckle and help me.
Oh, you can't feel your knees halfway after your first 2 years anyways. They're gone. When I was getting out, they were like, hey, dude, my knee really fucking hurts. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. I was like, no, my knee really hurts.
It's not why all my joints...
No, well, yeah, that's genetic, but mine's different. So they're like, okay, we'll take a look at it. And they're like, okay, cool. And they're like, you need an X-ray. I was like, all right. You need an MRI. I'm like, they never give you MRIs. Ever. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking die. They MRI'd my knee, and my left kneecap is 50% gone.
Just from all the wear.
Yeah, and I'm like, where'd it go? They're like, it must have been like that when you came in. I was like, the fuck it was.
It was reduced to atoms.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you got a bunch of cartilage powder in the rest of your body. We wonder if it's circulated through your bloodstream. But you already had that before you got here. We promise.
And they're like, oh, it's called patellofemoral disorder or some shit. I'm like, all right. They're like, oh, yeah, you probably had that when you came in. It's not service related. I was like, how did I get through MAPS? I showed the dude my butthole. He definitely looked at my knees.
Well, sir, we look at buttholes, but we don't look at knees.
Yeah.
We don't care if you can walk. We need to make sure you can shit properly.
They make you do a duck walk.
That's what I heard.
And I couldn't do it. I'm like, how did I get through MAPS without that? How did I get through, 9 weeks of basic and AIT in the last 5.5 years?
Well, that was, you're interrupting us, Shelby. Be quiet. Know your place. You could have been here, but you bailed.
Quitter.
Like I said, Riley, he was wrestling a kid, like play wrestling, whatever. And they said his kneecap like spun a circle. Ooh. And when it did, it happened to touch the bone. And when it touched the bone, it shattered it. Ooh. And I'm like, how the fuck does your kneecap shatter the end of your bone? And he's like, well, the doctor said through some process of and I'm like, never mind. I didn't fucking care.
So did his leg, instead of going like that, it went like that?
No, it didn't. Well, I think it hyperextended, but when it did, it like ripped the tendon and his kneecap wobbled. And when it wobbled, it fucking... My little brother flexed. Yeah, you're sick in the head, all right. My little brother had to pick up a piece of concrete when Trevin was sick.
Go back to your OnlyFans.
I wish. I'd marry her if she had OnlyFans.
You hear that, Shelby?
Hey, I'd so have a sugar mama. I don't even care. Hey, the trucking would be a hobby. I just wait for these big contracts to come
Daddy
out.
needs a new W-9. Daddy needs a C-18.
Yes. A Hemet wrecker. Yeah. Me and Josh would have so much fun.
Oh, dude.
Josh would be like, hey, some guy said his VW bug is stuck in the mud in the middle of the river. I'd be like, Hemet wrecker? Well, I don't know what we're going to hook to, but we'll find something.
I'll hold the camera. I ain't going to lie. I'll take a percentage. I'm a whore. At least nobody be shooting at me. Fuck.
I love it when you say that. Oh man, before I really got to know you, that joke did not set well because I wasn't sure of where you were and how mentally things were gonna go. And we're alone in a pickup.
She's gonna wear me as a face.
We're headed to Boonies, Wyoming, and Josh is like, "At least I'm not getting shot at." I'm like, "Uh-oh, where are we going with this?"
Start doing some Kegels right now.
Oh, God. She said no thanks.
Oh, fucking quitter.
Everyone else does it.
Yeah.
Hey, all of her friends do it for free, so I don't know why you wouldn't get paid for it. But Riley flexed so hard to pick up a piece of concrete, he fractured 2 of his vertebrae.
How big a piece of concrete?
It's probably large.
But he didn't get a hernia. That's the question everybody has. How did he not get a hernia, but his back muscles tightened so much they broke his back?
Yeah.
And then he went to the doctor for it, and they gave him some pain meds and said he'd be fine. It wasn't until he went to college, and the teacher was a specialist in some bullshit, whatever. They asked for his scans. He took them to her. She said, you need new scans, or, whatever, however the story plays out. He goes and gets new scans, and she goes, yeah, your back was broken at one point, and you fixed it, basically, naturally? Wrong. And he's like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah, if you hit a bump wrong in a car, if you shit your pants, you're paralyzed. You're paralyzed. So, don't fuck around. And Riley goes, so what you're saying is to buy a McLaren race car and drive it like a race car through downtown Texas. And when it gets airborne, just brace for impact, and hopefully I don't fuck myself up again.
I was taking a shit one day. I pushed too hard. I felt a pop in my back. And then my right leg went numb.
Oh, God.
It's like, that's not normal.
Was it your good knee or your bad knee?
No, it's like, when I go to the VA, they're like, how's your pain today? I was like, normal. They're like, well, what's normal? I was like, I don't know, 6, 7. They're like, that's not fucking normal. I was like, that's pretty good for me.
Josh is like, I'm up walking around, so we're fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I sat on a dude's motorcycle one time with my with shorts on, and I can't feel the right side of my body. And
that explains a lot now.
Yeah.
You never told me that. I was like, that motherfucker just dropped a head on his right hand, and Josh is like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I can't feel it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
I sat there and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I looked down, and I had 3rd-degree burns on my fucking leg.
Whoa.
I noticed it when I smelt it.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I have like a scar on my calf, and my wife's like, should probably get that looked at. I was like, okay.
You're like, I can't feel it, so
Yeah, so I go to the VA, and they're like, yeah, okay, you can't feel your legs, whatever, fucking cool. They're like, look at my back, and they're like, holy shit, how can you walk?
you're like you're like sheer mental fucking stamina.
Were you airborne? Nope. Never jumped out of a plane. Huh. Got blown through a wall once. Oh. There it is.
There it is. That video of the guy passing out in the parachute you sent me. And you're like not service related, and he's
Oh, yeah. He
hits
hits
it.
the fucking Humvee. Dunk.
we determined the VA has determined that your injuries aren't self or service related because as soon as you fell asleep, you no longer were active duty.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
I told my nephew, I was like, hey, when you get out, dude, we're getting you fucking paid. It's like, what? I was like, oh, dude.
You're like, don't be a man. Don't play the game.
No.
Don't fucking
Nope, don't suck it up. Start going to sick call now.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is a head bolt.
yeah, we replace those. We don't reuse them.
I know, Dale. How much money do you want to save? And I'm like, well, what are we talking about? He goes, well, I'll give you the spec to reuse your. Nope,
Nope.
we're done. Don't even care.
You can reuse those, but you have to measure every one of them because every time you torque it, it stretches and it's not fucking worth it.
No, and it was like $100 or something for all of them.
Yeah, they were like $2.98 a piece or $3 or something.
It wasn't
bullshit.
worth the fucking risk of blowing
No.
the head off. Yeah.
That's like, am I gonna get the new O-ring or am I gonna just put some freaking goop in it and call her a day?
Well,
Yeah, saved 59 cents.
I saved a trip to the store. At my shop, that's actually kind of a fucking fiasco.
It's at least $100.
Gas money.
Josh is like, well, I guess we're coming back tomorrow. If I leave, I'm not coming back. I was like, what if I buy us food? And Josh's like, I don't eat.
No, I don't. I get busy and I forget to eat.
I know.
Like,
That's where I get that from.
Logan will be like, Dad, I need food. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Quit being a bitch.
Well,
We've been here since 7 and it's now 4:30. I was like, oh, we should probably feed you at least once.
we just go to the gas station like 8 in the morning, and you buy me a bag of Doritos. And
Yeah.
dog
Get what you want for the rest of the day. I ain't coming back here again.
I buy.
Give me my 2 energy drinks. You know what I want.
Someone had a meme like that, like when I went to work with my dad, and they, he used to tell, like it was a truck driving guy. And they said, yeah, he said that, back in the day when you rode in the truck, there wasn't gas stations everywhere. You couldn't just stop and fucking grab a snack. And so I walk in, he laughs at me because I walked in the gas station, grabbed a couple candy bars and a bag of chips. And he laughs. And I'm like, what? He goes, you're going to be fucking hungry later. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll just stop again. He's like, that's what you think.
When we need fuel.
Yeah. And hopefully that's not soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, road trips with you are fun
Why not?
Dude, I
because
fucking...
we don't stop.
Oh, God, he let me drive.
We stop once to get lunch.
We stopped for fuel and that was it. Like, I don't eat.
I mean,
I
I
don't
get
fuck
it.
around.
I get it.
I don't really eat either. But then with Josh, there's a lot of times I'm like, hey, bud, it's noon. Can we make a parts run? Because I would like to go get some food.
Yeah, when we went to go pick
Stop
up,
being a bitch.
when we went to go pick up my truck, it was
Straight there, straight back.
Nope.
nope.
You told me that story.
It turned into a 4-day or 3-day.
Yeah, we went through Lolo Pass during winter.
Oh, I've been through.
That was at least like 5 hours.
Oh, dude, it was bad.
We were going 15 miles an hour.
I was in
got it.
4
That was
low.
That was the fastest we've
Like-
ever gone. That was the fastest
We were driving and these trees had snow on top and they were so
have
heavy
pictures,
it
I
would
think.
drop and like hit the windshield and I'm like, can't see the road, can't see the road, can't see the road.
You're like, the windshield's gone. Can't see the road.
Yeah, when the guy on the snowmobile like looks at it, it's like, what the fuck are you doing up here? I knew I made a mistake.
I know I made a mistake. Me and Brian did that. So we took a skid steer to Salt Lake for my dad in a rented fucking pickup with highway tires. It's nice. The weather's nice. Everything's nice. We get to Salt Lake. We drop it off. Oh, yeah. I love those trips.
That was a good part of the road.
Oh, man.
I called my wife.
Can you get us a motel?
Oh, dude, it was like we get there. I'd been driving for 15 hours or something, and I get there finally. We loaded up. We started that. We drove all night because we were going to get there in the morning, load it, and drive straight back.
Yeah.
The way we came was no longer viable.
We were not taking that truck on a trailer
No.
back through there.
Josh's like, we went south.
Yeah, we had to go up through Coeur d'Alene
Yeah.
and back that way, and we got to
Yeah. With this on the back, we were not going through that roads again.
what was that town we stopped at? I forget. And I was like, "Hey, this is our closest town. Get us a hotel."
Was it Kellogg?
May have been.
No.
No,
Kellogg's just past Coeur d'Alene.
it's
It
no,
was
we
like
were
on the,
south.
It was on the border of like
I mean, it would be this side of Coeur d'Alene. I don't
Oh,
know
wait,
exactly
hold
where
on.
it's
No, we were
at.
south of Coeur d'Alene, by some, but next to some river.
That's what this is. It follows like a canyon, and then Kellogg, and then it goes to Coeur d'Alene.
Hold on. Let me look.
Hold on.
Shut the fuck up.
But that was me and Brian. We're on our way back. We dropped skid steer off on our way back. Things are going good.
So we went to
See a snowflake, and
Orfino, then Lewiston,
Lewiston, Idaho.
Moscow. That was like right after those.
say Moscow.
Yeah, we stopped in Lewiston, Idaho.
I have no idea where that's at.
It's like right on the border of Idaho and Washington.
Oh God, you guys are way over there.
Yeah.
Orfino. Middle of. Hold on. Let me just.
Let me pull it back up again. So we see a snowflake, and I'm like, fuck. Brian pulls up the weather, and he's like, yeah, that storm is headed this way, and we still have to pass Bozeman Pass. Everyone's like, oh, Bozeman Pass ain't a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, no, it can be. Jesus. Yeah, because we used to go to Washington for the auctions and stuff. So we've probably been through there, but I don't pay attention to what I'm driving through. I don't even care. And then the fucking ramp gives out. So we found out the miles on the pins that hold the bars on, the little safety pins. Yeah, you can do, I want to say 1,300 miles, and then they give out. So we had ratchet straps, and right as we do this fucking, I think it was a semi doing like 15 passes us, and we can't get back around him. So then we stop and get fuel, and then 2 snowflakes fall. 3, 4. Pretty soon, it's like you can see the wall of white. And me and Brian was like, we're fucking out of here. I don't even fucking care if we run out of fuel. Put it in 4-wheel drive, and we take off, and the fucking snowstorm hits us as we're climbing the pass. I'm driving by reflectors at this point, and there's a semi, and we're passing people. And everyone's like, oh my God, what do you tell? And we look, and everyone's spun out, and we were barely keeping like with the storm enough to climb the fucking Bozeman Pass. Finally, we get over it, and we look at the other side, and it's just a straight line of semis completely spun out from the top of the pass all the way to like Lewistown. It was fucking, because it started just to back up so quickly. They couldn't get tow trucks, nobody through, because as soon as one semi spun out, everyone went to go around him, and then he spun out, and then fucked. You're done.
We made it from Lewiston, Idaho to Coeur d'Alene.
That took a couple hours.
That took the entire.
Yeah.
Did we stay in Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah, I remember. It was
Yeah.
expensive.
We stayed another night in Coeur d'Alene because I called my wife. I was like, hey, it's fucked. So I'm not trying to go through 4th of July, the divide, not the divide, the fucking,
Homestake?
homestake. I'm not trying to do that one at night. It's not going to happen.
In the snowstorm.
Yeah. So we get another one. That was like $400. And then we wake up in the morning. We're like, all right, let's go. We start going. We made it from Coeur d'Alene to Missoula.
And we stopped in Missoula.
And we were done again. Like
Yeah.
just fucking, I was wiped. And
It's like stressful too.
yeah.
Like it puts a lot of swear on you trying to drive in that shit.
And so we got off there, and I called my wife. I was like, hey, we need another one. She's like, okay. So she finds us another hotel, and I was like, okay. So we get off, and I'm like, oh man, I'm a little bitch. You know, fucking, I could probably push through. We get on. Wake up the next morning, get breakfast, and we get back on the interstate, and there's cars just lawn darted into the fucking snowbank at the exit we took. I'm like, okay, we made the right call.
You could like count the amount of cars.
Right, there's like a Walmart
wouldn't-
parking lot,
Yeah.
just fucking scattered.
You wouldn't have to wait like a couple minutes. It was consistent.
There was no center divider cable left.
Oh yeah.
It was gone.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like it was all down.
God, I miss those days.
I don't, dude. I'm old, and I don't know if I'm smart enough or
Now I don't know. I didn't like that shit. Like I did at the time when I was young and 18 and everyone's like, oh, you'll never make it back. And I'm like, watch this. And I did. But then like now I'm kind of like, yeah, I got to pay to fix this if I fuck it up.
Now I'm like, okay, I'm smart enough and I have the means. Yeah, nothing below 3-star, please. And I need a continental breakfast.
That was actually my dad's rule. If he
I
sent
love going on trips with them because
It's always nice.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, he told everyone if you go on a business trip or whatever, you know, send people out of town, he would not make anyone sleep in anything less than he would sleep in. So he would, you know, if he's passing through, he's like, God, that's a nice motel, $200 a night. And the guy's like, hey, we can't afford this. He goes, you're not paying for it. The company is. And they're like, well, there's a motel. He's like, no, I'm fucking not telling you.
I don't
guys.
sleep. No.
Oh yeah, we went to a motel or Super 8 or Motel 6 once.
Super 8.
Yeah.
Fucking yellow
And-
showers and
No, we didn't make it to
We
the
didn't
hotel
stay.
rooms. We walked in, immediately smelled like just
Rancid,
cigarettes
just- yeah.
and smoke. And there wasn't an elevator.
and piss. That's what my dad, we had, like, there was no other place to stay. And he's like, we're getting a room.
It's funny because we get over there and we're like, okay, we're on the second or third floor.
Yeah.
And we're like, where's the elevator? We don't have one. I was like, okay, cool, no problem.
Just
So we
walking down the hall, I remember it faintly. And it was disgusting.
We get up there and we find our room and Jess is like, okay, let me go in and look. She goes in, comes out and goes, I'll meet you at the truck. I was like, okay, that guy's fucked.
I may have low standards, but they aren't that low.
Right?
She comes back out and goes, that motherfucker did not give me a refund. I was like, I don't care, honey. It's okay. I still love you.
Well, that was when I was staying in Butte for work. The per diem wasn't covering the motel bill. And I'm like, God, this sucks. I need to get it cheaper. I've got to fucking, I don't want to pay to work. I go to the cheaper motel, and it's not terrible, but it has a weird smell to it. As I'm waiting in line to check in, a guy walks up and goes, hey, my room wasn't cleaned. She's like, oh, the housekeeping must have forgot to get to it. I'll get you a better one. And I'm like, that is not a good sign. I walk in the room and set my bag on the bed, and it like crunches.
The bed bugs helped you unpack.
I never even got that far because I like pulled the sheets back, and it looked like a gangbang happened in that bed, and they pulled the sheets back over it and left it to
Was
harden.
it like those stereotypical pictures of beds with yellow stains on it? Like just
I don't even know. I think it had yellow stains. I'm not sure, but it was crunchy.
Oh,
So I don't think they were pissing in the bed. I think they were doing other things in the bed.
When I worked for United, I was over.
Shelby was only fanning in the bed.
built-in water fountain or whatever the fuck.
ASMR.
single mom here with a built-in water fountain.
Yeah. When I was working for United, I was over in the fucking Bakken every day. I fucking lived over there for months. And I was there. My dispatcher was like, hey, I forgot to get you a motel. I was like, fuck. Okay. I was like, I find one. And she goes, okay. So I found one, and I walk into the front desk, and the lady goes, all night or by the hour? I was like, I'll sleep in my truck. Was not doing that.
No respect for the podcast.
Trying to make a living.
I'll sleep in my truck. I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
At first I tried to say, oh, let's just sleep in the truck. And
No.
after sitting in the truck for 7 hours, I didn't want to.
Dude, you have no idea. I've traveled the world. I will be fucking comfortable. I'm not doing it. It's not something I will even entertain.
Right. Like, why would you?
That when we were at Motel 6, we went to, where the fuck did we go? The thing with the faces.
Oh,
Rushmore.
Yeah.
So it was not Spearfish.
Yeah, it's a spearfish.
Rapid City?
Rapid City, South Dakota was like the big city at
Yep.
the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I found another one, but it's a little bit more expensive. I was like, I do not care. It was the one with the water park. I was like, score.
Beautiful.
Like, all right, kids, put on your swimsuits.
Yeah. And that's when I told her, I was like, stop being cheap.
Well, like, I don't know. Money to me is like a weird thing because, like I said, it's not exciting. Like, large amounts of money are like, oh, cool, I might get somewhere. But at the same time, like, people are like, hey, you could have bought that cheaper. And I'm like, yeah, or I could buy it from the guy I know, and I could buy like that water heater. I think I could have saved like $500, but I paid the dude to install it that I know personally, He's like, hey, if anything ever happens, call me. Day or night, I will be here to fix that. You didn't save the $500, so now I guarantee my service. Mm-hmm. Like, $500 to me, it's a lot of money, but there's also a time that it's like, I'm not going to step over $1 to pick up a fucking penny, you know?
My time is worth more than what I will pay somebody else to do something I don't want to.
Right.
That's...
Oh, yeah. Like I said, there's that logic of, like working on the truck. If I can drive a truck and someone can work on it, I'm making more money. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to sit at home while someone works on the truck, I can go learn how to work on the truck. But like I said, there's that fine line of stuff that there's not a lot I won't do. I'm trying to think, because I quit paying people to do shit because I realized I'll just fucking, if I have to pay someone to do it, I probably just don't need to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like plumbing my house.
Oh, dude.
Off topic, but how did you manage to get this so dirty if it was a head bolt?
Oh, we threw it directly on the ground.
Ah.
Oh, you should have seen that shop. I'm not proud of what it
I was
looked
there
like.
on like the second to last day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But we had cleaned up. Actually, I had cleaned up some, and I tried.
Yeah, stepping over all the fuck.
Oh, God. Josh is like, so usually I have room for 3 or 4 tables. Here we have room for half a table.
Oh, dude,
and my
I
chair.
had shit sitting on that Ford. I had shit on the fifth wheel plate. I had shit on the duals.
Well, we're not sure. I have pictures of all the shit on the duals. Because someone's like, yeah, there was an argument on TikTok about clean shops. And
Clean
the one
shops are nice, except for...
Well, they're nice, but like the one guy said, hey, man, if you got what you got, it's all you got. Like, and like I said, in my situation, the tow truck dropped it off. I wasn't even there. So I didn't have an opportunity to like start yanking shit out and figuring out where to put things so you had more room to work. So it was like, it turned into an is what it is moment. And they were like, yeah, the one guy's like, yeah, my shop, I won't even work on anything if blah. I was like, yeah, we don't have luxuries. Like, we're not getting paid by the hour to
Must
sweep.
be lucky.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you get the other guy that's like, hey, man, my shop's not, like, dirty. He said, we're just busy. Like, we're always working on something. The one guy has, like, a whole bay for a fucking engine. And he has everything laid out and labeled and shit's, like, sitting there pristine, which more power to you, I guess. And the other guy's like, dude, I don't have that kind of room. We have 5 engines, and we have one shelf, and each shelf is an engine. And there's 5 shelves. So each shelf gets, and we fucking cram it in there so it fits. And I'm like, I get it. Like, the clean shop doesn't make the work. The only problem is it does make the work harder sometimes. Because then you're like, hey, where'd that bag go?
You have not seen... Grandpa watches this, no offense, but you have not seen hoarding until you've seen my grandpa's shop.
Oh, God.
Dude, there are...
No, I've seen my grandma has 2... She used to have 2 sheds.
No.
Yeah, she used to... was it QVC back in the day, the TV?
Oh, my God.
So when
They preyed on old women.
When she passed away, we were cleaning her stuff out. She had unopened QVC buckets. Like, literally unopened. She had bought them and put them in the closet or the room or whatever, and then walked away. And they never even no one even knew what they were. And I was like...
He has, in his actual garage connected to his house, he has at least 5 small blocks next to his fridge. At least.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then he has a back room for spare parts.
Spare parts. Hey, I'm bad about that.
He has a mound of carburetors.
Yep.
Just a mound.
Yep. At least 30 or 40.
Oh, yeah.
Why aren't you rebuilding them?
I don't know.
Fucking quadrajet.
You're like, well, this is...
Fucking thermo quad. What's that shit?
You're like, well, this is useless. Fucking
Yeah.
get rid of that.
But he used to be, I don't know if he's told you, but he used to build trailers and drag racer back in his day, which was like the early 2000s.
I started going to say the 70s. I'm like, Jesus Christ, not that old, dude.
Drag racer back in the day. I thought you were going to talk about like the old school drag racers, though, where they literally like, oh, God, who was it? It was Chevy. And they're the reason NASCAR put a weight limit, or they were dipping the car bodies in acid.
Oh, yeah, to take like 2 mils off.
Yep, because it was just enough weight to give them the little, and then what was it? is it the Bandit they called him? He fucking had a 2-inch gas line because
Oh yeah.
Hold an extra gallon and a half or
Yep.
whatever.
they said like all these, like back in the old days, there's a reason they had to start making rules. It's because people found ways to need to make rules.
Yeah.
But he owned what year was his Pontiac?
Fuck, I don't know.
Like 60s Pontiac GTO.
That'd be cool.
Like fully built.
Isn't that like a Firebird?
No. Maybe.
I have no idea.
But it
It
was
has spark plugs. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Spark plugs. Doesn't your pickup have spark plugs?
Yeah.
You don't know.
No. Like some voodoo happens and like shit sparks at the proper time and there's I don't know.
Josh goes, and when it breaks, I take it to someone or I buy a new one.
Yeah, the voodoo happens in there. I have no idea what's going on.
but like it was perfected. Like
The thing had a problem staying on its front tires.
yeah, it
Oh god.
It would
was-
wheelie.
even
would
if you
be-
even if you like tuned it down, it would still wheelie. I think I heard him once that he wheelied a good chunk of the track.
That'd be badass. Do you have
It was.
a parachute?
No.
Yeah. No.
No, he doesn't have parachute.
Oh.
People are like, "Wow, you want to build a drag car and go fast?" I was like, no. I have no desire to go fast. Everybody's like, well, that's weird. Like, I have no desire to go
That's
fast.
weird. Josh goes 27 miles an hour and an M88 is fast enough.
Oh, dude, yeah, I've hauled ass. You have no idea the speed I've done. Have you had 72 tons moving?
And it feels like it too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have noted if we lived in like Ohio or something, I'd probably do like tractor pulls or something.
Yeah, I want to do that.
I would not. I have no desire to. This one is like, hey, we should make a drag car. I was like, why? I don't want to do a drag car at all.
We should turn that pickup into the farm truck.
Oh.
Yeah,
Fucking quad turbos.
but I have no desire to go fast. I'll make a cruiser,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
I get all my like classic car. He likes trucks. I like trucks and cars.
I like semis.
I like those two.
You have a more expensive addiction than both of us combined.
No, I got that one for $1,000.
You have a $70,000 motor.
That's for business, so that's not a hobby.
Oh,
See, the hobby, I sold all the parts. So I actually made money on that. What? Right off. Right off.
it's a write-off.
I'm trying to make that single axle camper puller out of that 1960 Diamond Rio.
Uh-huh.
And it's all, the dude, like, before they blew it up, had all brand new interior and, like, everything is classic inside. And I'm like, I have to go digital, though, to get all the engine components to cross over. And so some of this is probably not going to be original, but it's, like, immaculate in there. It is awesome. And it's got an aluminum frame because I sold the engine out of, so we cab swapped it from the aluminum frame Diamond Rio. We just took the cab off, put it on the Kenworth cab or frame and running gear. It had the B model in it and all that. Literally, like, basically had it drivable. And then two guys were like, hey, we want to buy that from you. And I'm like, buy what? They're like, we want to buy the engine and tranny from you. I was like, okay. And I pulled it, or I let them pull it, I guess. But I was like, so we're back to Diamond Rio on the aluminum frame. The frame is completely stripped sitting in my shop because I gave you the engine and tranny for the FFA. Mm-hmm. The cab is sitting at someone else's shop, and the hood is tucked inside. I now have to buy a front axle, a rear axle, an engine, and a transmission, and a driveline.
Kind of going backwards.
But I made a lot of money on it.
Oh.
You know how it is. Hey, when hobbies turn into profit, you're like, I guess I could.
And then when you got one truck down that makes money, you're like, oh, well, selling this.
Kind of. No, I'm not. But the hobby, it sits there. You know how it is. You kind of just like, as you buy parts. And I got the white truck that needs upgraded because the rear suspension is god awful. I have no idea who fucking invented it, but I don't know what's wrong with it. But like, it wants to tip over as a semi
Holy Jesus.
because the rear suspension is just garbage. So I'm going to upgrade it to a better suspension.
That 86 1-ton 4x4 is already at $6,000.
We're out.
People are
But
still
it's cool.
it's everything's cool. That's why people think it's worth money. The problem is it's usually not worth.
You know my criteria. That runs.
Right. So
In that
the
case,
because I'm all about like
see, this doesn't run.
Oh God.
It's a fucking car.
I'm all about like making it so that I have
Fine.
one part. I have one set of filters, one engine type. If I have to work on it, I have spare parts that work for every truck I have. So I found the suspension on my blue truck that's at the parts yard, and I'm going to take it from them and put it on that white truck. Take the white truck suspension, put it on the Diamond Rio. So I'm, salvaging some shit, making it more business friendly, and then I'm going to happen to repurpose it so that it's financially smart to spend the money to do it.
Do you need this?
I don't need
Yes,
that.
you do.
No.
This.
This is the bullshit I have to deal with.
Oh,
Dad, can we buy this? No.
have you met Brian? Yeah. He's like, so there's a Duramax on Facebook, and I'm like, and? He's like, well, I thought you should know. I think I want to buy it. And I'm like,
What about a...
okay. And he's like, I think I found a better one. And he's like, I found another one. And then he's like, I found this one has heated and cooled seats. And he's like, I think I'm going to go to Idaho. You want to go? I'm like, are we buying all these fucking pickups or what? The Fords? Fuck, we used to have, he's like, hey, I found a U-Haul, an old U-Haul that is a Ford. I bought it.
I don't go that far.
Oh, God.
I don't go to U-Hauls.
And then the cab.
I go to buses, but I don't go to U-Hauls.
Then he had the cab. There's one at his mom's house. Then he had the one in the shop that he almost got done, and then it didn't get done, and then he sold it. And then he still got the one at his mom's house. But
That's because he lost the dopamine.
yes.
He project hops too fast.
And then he had the Murano. But yeah, Brian's like, hey, I found this vehicle for real. I was like, a vehicle or a cab? He's like, well, it has a frame. And I'm like, it's still...
It's got a title.
And then he lost it.
Jesus.
So then he sold that one because he lost the title. So he's like, well, I just got rid of it because I'm not going to risk not having a title for a vehicle. And I'm like, fuck, here we go again. And then he had a running 7.3. It was decent. It was quick. It was fun. Single cab. I'm going to turn it into a crew cab. It was like a great idea
I don't.
until he gets to the part where the IDI crew cab doesn't want to plug and play into the non-IDI 7.3.
I love people like that. They're like, I got a 7.3. Yes, you do, but you have an IDI 7.3. There's a difference.
Oh, and he knows. Like, I mean, Brian literally, like, if it's a 7.3 Ford, he knows like IDI and non-IDI or
He's like
power
that
stroke.
zip ties and bias plies.
Yeah,
Straight down the throat hole. Cosby sauce.
yeah. Like he literally like, but there's that moment like the dopamine ran out, and he's like, it's not worth me moving pin 1 to pin 3 and pin 3 to pin 1 to fire this thing up. I sold it, and I'm like, was it really that hard? He's like, it's too much. It's too much. I'm done. The whole cab needed wired, and he's like plugging it in, and it wouldn't plug in. Well, see you later. Bye. That thing fucking sat in our shop for 8 months. No, yeah, 8 months, and then I yanked it out. Happened to yank it out in the place I put it. The guy loses his shop, so now I can't even fucking keep it there. And I'm like, what are we gonna do with this pickup? And he's like, I don't know. The guy can't have it until he pays me for it. So I showed up to pick it up, more or less. Like, hey, we're taking it regardless. And I was like, well, no, we're not taking it regardless, so you pay for it. And then Brian's like, if they take it, though, we don't have to deal with it anymore. And I'm like, your pickup, your rules, you make the decision. He's like, let him have it so we don't have to fuck with it.
This becomes a them problem.
Pretty much. And then Josh walks in there to help me do my transmission. He's like, holy shit, you have room in here.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is nice. After.
That was the first thing I was told. You must not work on your own shit. I'm like, why? And they go, do you not see the situations you put Josh in? And then I help Josh on the engine. And then I'm like, God, they're right. Yeah. When we go to work on this thing again, it's definitely not going to be like this.
Shops with lots of room are very nice.
Well, and clean stuff makes it nice too.
Yeah.
It's cleaned our shop a few times.
I meant like wash the parts or the end, like wash the mud off the truck before you pull it inside.
That's nice too.
It helps a lot.
I prefer it more when you pull a pan and shit falls in your eyes.
Well, I mean, you can't.
That's when you know it's really beneficial. And then you're rethinking your life choices and the people you allow in your circle.
And I'm
You're
like,
why the fuck am I here?
like, Josh, how do you, like, you have just, like, I can't even see your eyeballs. There's so much shit in your eyes. He goes, I'm used to it. Just fucking hand me the wrench. And I'm like, okay.
That's why I'm voluntold to put on glasses every time I go under one of our trucks.
Yeah.
It's funny because he always had glasses on.
Yeah,
Until he's like, hey, I'm going to teach you some things. And then I'm like, where are your glasses? He's like, I don't even fucking care. We're doing this. So I can game on.
there's, like a point to where
I got tired of driving 30 miles a day.
Because my shop is... I found out it takes me longer to get to work from my house to my shop than it takes Shelby's dad to drive from Laurel to Columbus to go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, that's fucking sad. That is so sad that it takes me longer to drive across town than it takes him to drive to a different town. That there's a town in between us.
you rented a shop in the middle of nowhere.
I know. So I told Josh I'm building a shop right here behind us.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're building me a shop? I was like, yes. And so you can use it whenever you want. Just don't let the dogs out. That's all that matters. Just don't let the dogs out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's, you want to come over and play?
No. Can we have a play day?
You'd be calling my wife. Can Josh come out and play?
Excuse me, Mrs. Skidmore.
Mrs. Skidmore.
Can Josh come out to play?
Well, that was that one day with the
What do
transmission.
you mean he's grounded?
He was on the tool truck again? Yeah. He sent me photos.
Burritos on the tool truck.
What?
Burritos on the tool truck.
Yeah.
Those are good. I got a free one yesterday.
Jesus.
Well, he swung by and was like, hey, dude, I have to get some feeler gauges. And he had the really nice ones like you had. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, for you, I'll give you a free burrito. I'm like, oh, perfect.
$200 feeler gauges, $4 burrito.
Only $174.
$200. Round that shit up.
Well, it was after I got my tool board.
Yeah.
I'm really bad about OCD organization. So my old toolbox, if it fit and the drawer closed, I didn't give two fucks what it looked like when you open that drawer back up. And the amount of time I lost looking for tools. So then I bought, I've upgraded. I got some kind of nice, I bought a toolbox, the black one that I sold Brian. I had a nice toolbox and it came with some tools and some tool organizers. I'm like, oh, this is fucking nice. And then I'm like, God, I saved so much time by keeping this clean and organized. So then I bought another toolbox and I was like, and I started buying tool organizers. And now I have 3 different types of tool organizers trying to figure out which one I like the most. But the one's like a pegboard. And he's like, dude, if you're really OCD, this is perfect. The problem is you have to like build it. And he's like, so the next time you want to change or you find like a socket that the size isn't where it needs to be and you have to move everything, yeah, you're going to be like, go fuck yourself. But now that it's like, I have to have a clean toolbox because I hate fucking opening a drawer. But the nice thing is too, I open a drawer and I look and I'm like 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch drive socket's missing. There's a hole right where that socket goes. So what did I do with it? And I look around and I'm like, I have no fucking clue where that is. What's on the fucking impact gun? Where the impact gun is, where it's supposed to be, and there's fucking sockets still on it for some reason. But I open it and I know exactly what I have, and it's clean, it's organized, and I'm not fucking fighting for sockets.
I'm guilty of not doing this.
I'm not doing this.
Your shop is disgusting right now.
He'll be at school, and I'm like doing a job. I'm like, where is this at? On the ground underneath the green truck. Fuck. Get my fat ass under there. I'm like, oh, there it is, son of a bitch.
I love it because we had Josh's shit just tore apart. The service truck had all the tools out of it. I forgot the sockets again. Fuck. We pulled everything out, and it's just like tools scattered everywhere. And occasionally we're like wiping stuff out, putting it back, making sure we still have something to use. And then when we started picking up Josh's little Craftsman case, start putting the tools in the spot. He's like, here's what I'm missing. We find it, we put it in there, and we close it. Tool truck got reorganized, everything got put away, and then the shop got deep cleaned.
I just need to get like a stick with a big magnet on the end.
They make those.
So I can just go over the floor.
They make those.
I need those.
They make them with wheels too, so you don't have to even carry the magnet weight.
Just make him crawl underneath there. It's like he's mopping and sweeping all at once, too.
Gotta keep this hair maintained.
Yeah. It's all fun and games until it gets sucked into a creeper wheel.
Oh, God.
I was working on my truck. It's your truck. But I was trying to reinstall the rusted off exhaust.
I don't know why you did that.
It Oh, well, okay. So,
He's trying to re-weld the exhaust that's completely rotten and fucked.
Yeah, you don't weld. What the fuck? You don't weld that.
well, it's
Oh, hold on. Here you go.
Why? Because we fucking can't.
He's a farmer with a welder. What do you think he's gonna do? Why would you buy a new exhaust?
FFA.
He's like, know what we usually did? Straight pipe that motherfucker. There was
yes.
no reason to have an exhaust at that point. We didn't even have. I didn't have exhaust manifolds at one point. We took them off to work on the truck, or on a different old vehicle I had in the backyard, and we were working on it, and we were trying to see if it would run, and it ran. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just drive without manifolds. Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
It doesn't work. I didn't get very far before the guy's like, by the way, that will fuck that thing up. And I was like, okay, so we threw manifolds on it. Nothing else. They're like, that still isn't enough. And I'm like, it's better than no manifolds though, right? Am I right?
And that's how you fuck up a valve.
Yes. I have no idea if I did or not. I tore that engine apart, took it to a shop to get cleaned. Me and the guy that owned the shop no longer got along, kind of thing. That engine, I have no idea where the fuck it went.
Well, it's like him. He's like, Dad, we need a bigger shop. I'm like, motherfucker, it took me 41 years to get this one. Shut up.
You know, my dad says the same thing to me.
Do you know how long I never got a shop when I was a kid?
I rented the shop I'm renting. My dad's like, that was dumb of you. And I'm like, why? And he goes, you know how long it took me to get a shop? And I'm like, and? Like, your point? I was like, I'm a business owner, and to work on the semi, I have to have something. Doing this shit at negative 10 degrees is not okay.
Oh, yeah, lose my fucking number.
Yeah.
I am not coming to that bullshit.
And you're not going to open an engine with the dirt blowing around you
Oh,
outside.
it'll be fine. Do it all the time.
Josh
Over in
is
North Dakota.
Josh's like, I got some coffee filters. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'd be good. It's fucking
He's
garbage
like-
bag over the top. You're good.
He's like, you know how long it took me to get a shop? I was like, and you couldn't even fit semis in his shops. They fucking sucked. All of his shops were garbage, except for one. But I was like, hey, I have to work on my trucks. Like, I need a shop. And I split it with Brian, so it didn't really, bills were a lot nicer. But, yeah. And now I'm like, okay, well, we're back to not having a shop, so fuck that. They're classified as storage units.
Oh, really?
Yes. The HOA is stepping up, and we're no longer allowed to do anything. I almost got in trouble for leaving at 5 a.m. because I'm breaking, like, noise ordinance.
people sleeping there.
Yeah, there's people living in them. They're not supposed to be.
There's one living next to him.
Yeah.
Every time I'd pee, I thought his old lady was looking at me.
She probably was.
Yeah, I saw them like taking laundry out one day, and I'm like, "You're living in that."
Their camper's gone now, though, so I think they went on vacation. They so many people had pissed in the same spot next to my shop that the ground is discolored, and every time it snows, it doesn't get snowy. The snow doesn't stick.
Probably radioactive.
Is it just hot?
Geiger counter.
Like
Josh was here.
Louis, though, when we were working on the truck, so many of us had pissed in the same spot that plot of ground was hot and steamy like all day and all night. Like it never got cold.
I do pee a lot.
I do too.
The amount of Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper I've intakes is concerning.
There's a tree behind my shop that I'm pretty sure I killed.
Pissing on it?
Yeah, that's a big one too.
It's leaning over the shop. It's a little concerning.
Oh, yeah. When are you doing that?
Probably this spring.
When are we doing that?
Because I got nominated to haul the wood off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Josh is a really good friend of mine, so I don't mind. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to haul it somewhere.
That's a you problem.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It is. I told my aunt that I hate being petty because I'm really not petty and I don't care. Like being petty almost bothers me because it means that I'm caring about something that really has no fucking impact on my life whatsoever. But I heard my dad wanted the firewood out of my backyard and we're still not talking. So I hauled all the twigs to my aunt and dumped a couple loads of concrete on top of any good wood that was there. That would be hard to get out. And then I hauled the rest of it for free to a guy and dumped it for him just so it wouldn't get put at my aunt's property where someone could get to it. But now when people are like, so you hauled it for free, like it's a waste of money. He lives right next to my shop, like a street over. So I dumped it for him and then went to the shop, parked, and went home.
Oh.
So like for free really wasn't for free. But when I tell people, I make sure to say like I did it for free.
So where's all your shit at now?
You know, a lot of it's crammed in that building.
What building?
My shop
You still have it?
until June 14th.
Oh.
The trailers that I've already made a deal arrangements for another shop. But I don't get this one the way I have mine. I'm only allowed to keep my toolbox and one shelf inside their building. And I have to leave everything else outside unless I'm working on it. No more Brian stuff.
Oh.
No starting a project and then not looking at it again for a year.
9 months later.
Yeah.
I do that too much.
We all do. That's the problem with shops. That's why they're never big enough. Because you have a bay and you're like, I'm not using that bay. I'll just stick a project over there. And then you're like,
we had that step side sitting for at least 3 years, so I decided, let's do something with it. Now it's sitting there with
Again.
another truck. Not doing anything.
I'm aware.
well, Josh opened the door one day and he's like, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I'm getting something for that. And I'm doing this. And then
Yeah, we haven't touched either of those trucks.
me and Brian looked at
since.
each other and we're like, oh, so he's like us.
Pretty much.
I've tried to get you over there so we can take that other engine and trans out, so we can get the other truck out of there.
It's not my fault.
It's your shop.
Yeah.
I still have your tranny jack too.
Oh, yeah, that's where that went. I loan shit out, and I'm like, where the fuck did that go?
My problem is like the tranny jack, Josh, like I don't do this stuff. So actually you bought the tranny jack for my transmission the first time. How many tools Josh has bought to help me?
Thousands.
A lot of tools, actually. Other than the big sockets, I'm like, I don't think he even needs this. Like, I should just offer to buy it from him. And then, like, the big sockets, I'm like, now this looks like
No,
some heavy.
I use that shit.
That's what I was saying. Like, the big sockets, I was like, this looks like some heavy equipment shit.
Yeah.
This is not semi shit. This is heavy equipment shit. Just so happens that my yoke nuts or whatever you call them fucking are this size. Mm-hmm. And then we're on the tool truck, and I bought a 1-inch drive socket set. And he's like, oh, man, those are big sockets. And I'm like, you realize the sockets that I borrowed, the smallest one I borrowed is still bigger than the largest one you're selling me? And he goes, we don't sell anything bigger than that. And I was like, well, I need a bigger one. Like, I still am short a few sockets to work on my semi. And he's like, yeah, you're out of luck.
Do you need big boy sockets?
Yes. And Josh goes, yeah, my biggest one's like 4-inch. And the tool truck guys.
I've seen that. It's just like a plate across the socket that's about this thick.
And Josh, and the guy's like, looks at Josh and goes, what the fuck are you doing with a 4-inch socket? And Josh's like, what am I not doing with a 4-inch socket?
Whatever I want.
Yes.
I bought that socket. Like, that's like one socket I've actually purchased.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because the rest of them I heard came out of a dumpster.
Yeah.
Bottom of the trash can.
It was,
But they had to hit the bottom, though.
Oh, I've listened to like all of these podcasts during school because I bore myself.
I loved it, though, because Josh goes, we had one guy in the dumpster waiting for everything to touch the bottom, and he had to visually verify.
Dave.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
as soon as it touched the bottom, Dave would hand it back out.
Talking on my plasma cutter.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They threw away a plasma cutter?
Yeah. Wasn't on the property book.
That's what.
Oh, dude, your tax dollars suck.
But you mean to tell me that they threw it away because they didn't have record of it?
Yes. If it's not on the property book, we can't have it.
Is that why you have so many tools?
Yeah.
Is that why someone went and redacted your whole shop worth of tools out of a property book?
Yeah. Dude, we fucking...
I was saying you found the property book and you're like, well, I want one of these. I better cross this
Oh, no,
off
we
the
feel
list.
lost at that.
It's,
Dude, we tried to feel lost a fucking 88. Like,
if you try hard
from
enough,
Iraq. Like, yeah, we need a new one. It burnt down. They're like, it's right there. I was like, no, it's not it. Like, what do you mean you need a new one? I was like, well, we need a new one. I was like, do you know what it takes to get a new fucking 88? Like, congressional hearings and oversight has to come in. I was like, oh, okay, well, that one, we'll paint the bumper number back on.
We'll paint the bumper number.
You could tell the mechanics. You could tell the mechanics because we all had Humvee tires on our fucking 8-lug Chevys.
Yes.
They bolted right up.
Oh, God.
I didn't have to buy tires for a long time.
Well, is that why the audit they just had, $850 million are missing?
I don't know anything about that. Most for me was maybe 8 mil.
Jesus.
Well, no, all yours was accounted for. The guy had a bag of cash
No, the shit I stole from the Seabees. I didn't care about that.
Well, that was field loss. All that's accounted for.
Well, I don't know what to do with that. I wish I could have been there, like a fly on the wall for that. Be like, okay,
Or find someone that could tell you what happened.
listen here, Chief. We went in, we got our pot roast, we came back out, and it was missing.
It was gone.
Yeah.
And aren't you on a military base?
Yeah.
So it's not like they think someone just stole it like downtown LA. Like they know someone on the base made off with this vehicle but by the time they even could come looking.
But there's so many people coming on and off that base
Oh,
that
right.
it was the biggest. It was the Air Force base. They like
Was that like that?
yeah.
Okay.
That's a oil jet.
That you just broke.
It's a piston cooler for the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So do you know why it's machined like that?
Fluids?
Yep. To let the oil. Josh goes, by the way, if you're the idiot on TikTok that thinks that you can replace these bolts with standard bolts, you would be wrong.
They fucking do that.
I know,
Like,
you were telling me. And it didn't make sense until I pulled that off and realized what you were talking about. Because I was like, what's wrong with this bolt? And then I realized it literally is machined to allow oil passage. It's like all oil passages.
Yeah,
It has to pass through something.
but it's funny because like a quarter of the bolt's missing.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Just past a 180 mark. Mm-hmm. So that way it has enough to hold, but not enough that there's a gap for oil. Mm-hmm. But there's enough bolt there to grab the threads and stay positioned where it needs to be.
I know of people
25 foot-pounds.
that have not. They take these out and they don't replace them.
Isn't it just shooting fucking oil straight through your...
They put a plug in it.
Why? It literally...
It's a piston cooling
Right.
jet.
I've seen like hack mechanics talk about one thing you have to guarantee works is those cooling jets or your pistons will melt. That doesn't make any sense.
If I pull the head off and I see the center, it's called the button.
Yeah.
It's where 90% of your heat is because that's where your injector sprays at.
Right.
They have it's a higher metallurgy so it can handle the heat better. And if I see that and it's got cracks in it, I know this is fucked.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, we never went over that. You just looked at mine and said, yeah, you're fucked. Just...
Oh, dude, I didn't even... The visual inspection. Well, we started with that.
The broken rocker arm.
Yep. And it progressed to...
Your
That-
motor was running with this?
Yeah.
Well, it was running, and then as soon as that broke, I pulled over, realized something was wrong, and I turned it off. And then I turned it back on and realized that it was not electrical. Turned it back off and called the tow truck. And to Josh.
Yeah.
That was one of those, hey,
Sounds like a compressor. Like, what?
I was like, the fucking turbo boots are about to blow off of this thing every cycle. Like, it is pushing more boost through the intake. It is pushing more exhaust through the intake than the turbo pushes boost through the fucking intake. And I didn't get a response. And then I said, I hate to be rude and disrespectful, but I see you're watching my TikTok videos. I need some help.
Well, I wasn't ignoring you.
I know
Like,
you weren't, but I was like, he's on TikTok, so I might as well just message him on there.
Yeah. I answered as soon as I saw it.
Right, I know
Not a
it.
dick.
And then he called me. He's like, hey, what's up? I was like, well, I'm on the side of the road. I got a tow truck coming. It's coming to the shop. Here's what it sounds like. And he's like, yeah.
Something's not right.
Yeah. He's like, something's wrong. And when you get here, we'll go over the 3 options and figure out which one it is.
Yeah, he's like, well, what could it be? I was like, well, you either broke your crank, dropped a liner, busted a rocker arm, or there was like something else.
I think he said snap the cam.
Yeah.
Or like a lobe on the cam was fucked up, which it was. And all the above were true except for the crank.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I guess it didn't have a dropped liner, but
I still don't get how you accomplish this.
Well, that thing is.
well, how much pressure is on all of these?
Look at the top of it. What's on the top?
It's indent.
You know what a rocker arm does, right?
Yeah. Opens.
The valves.
Yeah, that one.
That indentation is for the
Don't test me on this. I don't know.
exhaust jake.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where the exhaust jake hits.
My only problem
So
is
is that why you don't use your, like, jakes all the time?
Yeah.
Because then...
Yeah. So that got, I don't know if the what I think that would just got fatigued over God knows how long.
Well, and based on the condition of the engine after we opened it up,
Because I don't know if that's a casting date of 1998.
well, the engine was built in 95, but
Still could be a casting mark from 98.
based on the engine condition, they so instead of putting new O-rings and gaskets on stuff, they had siliconed the liners into the engine block.
That's fine.
Hey, how I didn't have coolant or oil in one or the other amazes me.
My hypothesis is that the head went bad. And they took all the old stuff out of the head,
Yeah.
put it in the new head, put the head on halfway, and let her buck.
Yeah, because the cam was all fucked.
Yes.
Someone did. I'm done this enough to know how to do it by feel without feeler gauges, and was wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had mismatched parts. I mean, there were like new parts, semi-new parts, and then definitely old parts that looked like someone rubbed some fucking grease on and said, "This will lube this bearing up enough to keep it running for a while."
But they were all cat.
It was odd that they were all cat parts.
Yeah. Well, except the seals and O-rings. I don't know what the fuck they were.
Well, half of them were fucking
Silicone.
silicone.
Epoxy on the front cover.
And I got the cam bearings, and I got the wear bearings for the idlers. I brought some stuff in, so
Let's make the conversation.
so that weird noise it's making now is oil related.
What?
Oh, it just fits in like a.
I think
puzzle
it's my
piece.
air compressor,
Oh.
but I serviced it, and like the noise like went away, and then it kind of comes back towards the end of the day, but it's really quiet now. So I'm
Your
like,
oil's getting thin.
yeah.
You think?
Well, I'm hoping it's the oil because if it's not, it's the cam, and I'm just not gonna touch it until I do
think
my
it's the
overhead.
cam.
But it's like a weird noise. And like I said, it only happens after it's been running. Like something in the air compressor is not happy.
Describe the noise, like a audio.
Well, it's more like a woo, 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 woo. But you can hear it definitely coming from the side where the air compressor's on. And it's totally RPM related, but it's not like full.
If it was a cam, it would be consistent all the time.
Oh. No, this like winds up with the RPMs, and then it like when at 700 it starts, and then to about 1300 either it's inaudible or it goes away, which is weird. And then like I said, when you let off the throttle and go to shift, it's like woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
It's a 6 liter.
Some people.
So it picked up again the other day. Like it got loud, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I do pre-trips and I look at shit, but I get up at 4 a.m. Things may go unnoticed. The peanut cover had bolts that were loose. The back cover above the air compressor had bolts that were missing. I had shit rattling out all over the place. So I went through and re-tightened everything and went through it all and tightened all the compressor bolts, the nuts on everything, and the noise went away. And I'm like, I bet you it's finally getting oil again. So I'm pretty sure what it is every time something must start leaking above it, it's just not getting just enough oil. But whatever it's not oiling, I'm pretty sure I've kind of put a little mark in because
Machine to finished.
yeah,
Interference fitted.
yeah, pretty much. Because it now, like I said, the noise doesn't go away at all now, or it's really quiet. At least the first time I fixed it, when the nut came loose, the noise had went away when I fixed all the oil leaks. And now I'm back to like a really faint. You can kind of tell it's there after I serviced it. And I'm like, well, this is cool.
Just throw some of that.
Stop leak?
Yeah. Yeah. No, what is
Thick
that?
enough oil, the noise will go away.
Some motor honey. Throw some motor honey in there. It'll be all right.
The fuck is that?
Oh, it's the berries cherries tune up
Oh, yep.
for like bad oil pressure.
Like just sticking it up to a point that it has to read good.
I've seen multiple YouTube videos of people putting oil, which is basically just honey.
Oh yeah, like
Like, it will be rod knock. Like,
my 13-year-old knows what rod knock is. I've done something well in this world.
Well, Brian, well, it's great though. The engine's rebuilt because the oil was clean, and then it got black. And like I told you, it like burned a gallon, turned black. And I'm like, it's got to be time for an oil change.
my truck does that.
And I looked at the math. It literally was 500 miles from an oil change. And I'm like, this is nice. I do like that now it's clean. And I know when I need to change it because when I check the dipstick in the morning, it's going to be low, it's going to be black. Then I'll be like, well, time to change the fucking oil. That's what Brian with that Kenworth B model. So I guess the oil pressure's reading really weird. So we put a bunch of Lucas in there. He's like, yeah, I think I'm adding a gallon of Lucas like a day. Like there was a point that
That's gonna be.
and he was I trust him. I didn't need to inspect what he was doing. When he's adding oil or whatever, like it was going to like a gallon a day. There was a point that I almost was thinking that he was just adding a gallon of Lucas every day. That it may have just been running on Lucas. And I'm like, hey, are you adding oil or Lucas? He's like, I'm doing both. Like I'm adding oil and then dumping Lucas in with or whatever, kind of thing. And I'm like, finally it got to a point where I serviced it and the dipstick said it was full. And I drove it to where it was going to spend the rest of its life that I needed to know about. And I turned it off and I texted the owner and I said, here you go. Your truck is here. I will see you later. Then he texted Brian and said, does this thing get serviced? And Brian's like, yeah. Like he literally, I met him at the shop. He serviced it. We fucking drove it to your house. It's got like 5 miles on it. If there's anything wrong between then and then, I don't know what to fucking tell you. And then I texted Josh. I was like, hey, when that guy calls you and says that it won't idle, I left the Jakes on. I was like, I try not to be petty, but sometimes you got to fuck with people.
No, what you got to do is put your phone on airplane mode so it says the call failed.
The call failed. No, I don't need to play that kind of game. No, I told Josh, like,
kind of game.
Josh, like, why are you telling me this? I was like, because as soon as he starts that fucking truck, he's going to assume I blew the engine up. He's going to call you to come inspect it, tell him to turn the Jakes off, and then see if it idles. Did he ever call you?
No, I think he sold it.
He did sell it.
Yeah.
But I think Brian told, I think Brian might have been the one to tell him the Jakes were on.
I went up there and did the Sterling. I spent all day up there on that fucking thing.
What'd you do to it? Because you fixed his fuck up with the gate.
Yep.
I don't know how they fucked that up.
Oh.
It was destroyed.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. So we took some hammers to it, and I'm like, oh boy. And then I saw the picture of what you did afterwards. I was like, that looks better than fucking factory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's superb.
I forget what I was doing with that, but I ended up doing a annual, and then I did it was something with the ABS system, but on the C13, the Jakes are part of not Jakes, the cat brake is part of the ABS system, and I couldn't figure it out, and then I used my fancy computer, looked up the wiring diagram, found the relay, took the cover off for the relays, and they just all fell out.
Also, that's why the engine kept
Yeah.
flashing the code, and the Jakes would.
That'll do it.
That's fine.
Because you worked on it, and we're like, it's weird because it runs really good now, but you turn the Jakes on, and they I swear you would pick up speed. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I can hear the Jakes running, but I swear I'm going faster.
That was the relay. It was, I don't know. It's not, they weren't Jakes or cat brakes or whatever.
Yeah, the fucking cat brake. I couldn't believe mine had Jakes on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what Grandpa said. There was a big, dividing line at one point where Cat was like, hey, we're going to make our own fucking brakes. Like, we're not running Jakes. We're not doing this. It's going to be a Cat product, Cat parts, Cat everything. And I thought he said they started that back in, E model.
C15s definitely do. C13s do. C12s do. C7s I don't think have engine brakes.
No, they're
Oh, it's
exhaust
supposed to
brakes.
snow?
Yeah.
Again?
Oh, yeah.
For an hour.
Well, all I know is that job site's so fucking muddy. I couldn't get in there.
No.
I dumped in a bad spot, and they're going to hate me, but it is what it is.
Dude, it's shit. Summer's flooding.
It's supposed to be cold next week. I don't mind the cold, but I don't like the fucking
Red
wetness.
Lodge got 5 foot of snow.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, Acton's snowing right now.
Oh, God, fuck Acton. That's where I got towed. That's where I had to get towed out of. Hauling trees. This is why I don't be petty, right? This is why I try not to be petty. Because I'm hauling trees out of my backyard, which it's my fucking fault for not just dumping them. But I was like, hey, it's 7 o'clock. I don't want
Did
to
you get stuck here?
No.
Oh.
I did, yes. But I got out of here.
Oh.
I'm not that dumb. Come on. So I get to Acton, though, and I'm like, it's 7 o'clock. I don't want to drive through the trailer park. Whatever. Fucking, I can see the hard road. It's all fill. So there's one, semis, we all take the same fucking route. So I know there's at least some hard ground. fucking
That's compacted.
yes. So I fucking make the loop coming out, and I like feel it slide off the compaction. But it's all the same. You know how it is in dirt. Like
Flashbacks. Not again. Not again. Not again.
it's all flat, but you feel like the softness of it, even though it's flat. And then next thing I know, I'm like buried up to the axles.
That's fun.
Dude, my biggest thing I hated was when you're driving like a loader over something that's wet and the ground starts pumping.
Yes.
But you can see it pump in front of you.
Ice roads.
I got a P2. Bear with us for our commercial break.
Well, this is supposed to be the bathroom down here.
It's supposed to be. There's a toilet right there. I mean, use that.
Everyone always brings up that toilet.
Yeah. Why do you have a toilet right there?
Well, because it's supposed to go in this bathroom that I turned into a podcast station.
Why is this a bathroom? Why is it a podcast station?
Because it costs too much to turn into a bathroom because I spent the money on a podcast station.
Maybe you should invest in a bathroom instead of a podcast station.
Well, you know like those project trucks? Do a lot of dumb shit sometimes.
I can't wait till you have. Well, I can't wait till you have kids, but
you
fucked.
You're gonna steal my kids for like a weekend.
Oh hell no, dude. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that too. But it's be like, hey, you know your dad had his first truck at like 12?
Please no, please don't. I
Oh.
don't have money for that.
Go shut the doors.
I'm going.
Fucking Ruby.
Upstairs. Go.
Go on, Ruby.
Don't jump.
She's dangerous too. She jumped over the baby gate, so my stairs are fucking steep as shit. She's like, I don't know you.
Would not be a cowboy. He ain't gonna be a bull hauler.
No. Hey, that's one thing I ain't fucking doing is hauling cows. Watch that.
I love it. People call me and they're like, "Hey, what's the best motor?" I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, well, I'm doing this. I want to get a B model cat. Why? Well, because it's non-electric and it's cool. I was like, okay, try to get parts for it.
That's my terminology for everything. Not terminology, but it's old, no computers, and it's cool.
Yeah, try to get parts for it.
Watch me.
Well, your E model is going to be the B model in 10 years.
I know. It's already headed there because what Dale say they already quit production of B model part. Or like they no
longer are required to support that.
right.
It's past the whatever.
Yeah.
My uncle, he was down here.
We should get Paul on the podcast.
Paul will never do it. He's too old. He doesn't like talking to people. He's my uncle who owns the gold mines.
Yeah.
He's a Vietnam vet.
I do admit he's not very chatty.
Fuck no.
I've actually spent time with him for like not a lot of time, but he doesn't talk.
Let's put him on a podcast.
Yes, it's fine.
So, what do you think of this?
How does your TV
I
show
don't
go?
like it.
He's very to the point.
Oh, dude, he fucking hates the what the hell is it? Gold Mine show or what is
Gold
it?
Rush.
Oh,
Yeah, he fucking hates that show.
why?
Josh's like, you know how many times they've asked him to be on it? And he's like, no.
Yes.
But like I said, that's the one guy on TikTok.
But he could pay so much to be on a TV show.
I can't handle the bullshit. I don't think I could do it.
No, he's like, why are you gonna let M. Shaw watch you do dumb shit.
Man, why would I want to ruin? Why do I want to purposely look fucking stupid for money and then have everyone in the world think I'm an idiot when I'm not?
Dude, that show is so dumb. They're like, oh my God, we're almost out of ground. Paul has like ground for the next 10 years if he wanted it. Mm-hmm. As soon as he's like, okay, we just got done with that 1,000 acres, start looking for another 20. Mm-hmm. Like he's 77.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's old as fuck, dude.
It doesn't look that old.
Yeah, but he's always looking for more ground and shit, and he's already got, he's looking 10 years in the future.
Yeah.
And he was down here, and he does a pilgrimage every year up here because that's Billings is where he's from. My grandparents used to own the Bears truck stop in Hardin back in the 70s, the Three Bears or whatever it's called.
I don't think it's there anymore, is it?
No.
Okay, I was like,
It's the one across the street from the McDonald's.
Just don't look at me.
there's a Love's. That's all I know.
No, it's across the highway the other way.
Oh,
It's by the powwow, the powwow bail bonds and
Oh, I thought.
yeah. But they, so he's down here doing his pilgrimages for the year, and we were talking and stuff, and he's, we're talking about mechanics and stuff because I had to call him that one time, and he's, it's like, yeah, got a buddy of mine that's got C-15s, and at this point he'll pay $60,000 for a platinum kit. I was like,
yeah, I know the feeling.
right?
Well, and that guy on TikTok's like, oh, everyone's trying to make cat relevant again and blah, blah, blah. And they don't even make their own engines anymore. And you can't find them in semis. And like I said, my whole video that he like mocked wasn't, hey, cat's the best, like fuck the rest. It was that on my experience, it's worth the fucking money.
That rhymed really well.
Oh, that's where they got the rhyme,
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people say is cat's the best, fuck the rest. Like I said, the Cat Sys 2.0, as an owner-operator and I know I had access through you for it, but for them to even offer it to me, like, it's better than a Chilton manual. I can do anything on that engine that I want to fucking do because hey, if you're going to pay the money for cat parts, we give you the torque specs, the instructions. We give you the part numbers for the O-rings and the breakdown. So when you go talk to Dale, you say, hey, Dale, here's what I need. And you show him the picture and he fucking, here you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't get that with anyone else. There is no one that does that.
No, and it's one of those things people ask me, hey, what's the best motor, engine combination, vehicle, whatever. What are you doing? Well, I'm going to be doing heavy haul. I was like, well, I would suggest a Western Star. Why? I was like, they were the original heavy haul out of British Columbia, I think.
Right, and that's what Grandpa said. They were always, most people didn't like them because they were heavy. Because they were like always double framed. They always had whatever.
They were the only ones that were offering triple frame.
Oh, really?
You could get a factory triple framed truck.
That's fucking some shit.
Yeah.
You're doing some crazy shit with that thing.
Yeah.
And that's what, because Grandpa said when we were all looking at trucks back in the day, he said we didn't, the company he worked for, they had went through the ringer. They had, I mean, everything is exactly the same. If it had different rear ends, they swapped them. Mm-hmm. If it had a different engine, they swapped it because every truck, they had one shelf of parts and it fit everything they owned. And he said they didn't buy Western Stars because they were too heavy, because they were all set up for any of them that they got their hands on were like heavy haul trucks. Well, you're hauling gravel. You don't need fucking triple frame and all the bullshit. No. But then when it came down to, they all run Western Stars now, I noticed. They're all brand new Western Stars. But when it came down to...
Look what's hauling those Megan Superloads and stuff.
Oshkosh. Yeah, the Hemmets. The fucking C18s and...
If it's not that, it's probably a Western Star. If it's not that, it's probably a W9.
Yeah. And actually, the Mac...
I very rarely see a Peterbilt. I've seen Peterbilts as the brake trucks on the ass end of it.
Yeah.
But very rarely do I see them...
Like a lead.
As a lead truck, yeah.
Yeah, because they're for cow haulers.
Yeah.
They're for sissies.
But then people also ask me, like, well, I'm going to haul, dry van across the Southwest. Get a plastic Pete.
Yeah, get something light.
Get a plastic Pete with an automatic transmission. You're not going to have to deal with weather, possibly. Hills, mountains, stuff like that. You're not going to have to deal with that. Get the little the little covers for the tires. Get your little, V divider so you can get that extra 1 mile per gallon. If that's what you're doing,
Right.
plastic Pete will do fine.
Yeah, you don't need 625 horses.
No.
A fucking 5 miles a gallon ripping through fucking with your dry van on because you want to look cool. And I hate to say it, like, you know how it is. I got my truck. I mean, literally, the guy was like, hey, come down if it starts. Drive it home. You can have it. And I put a lot of money into it, but it still was my truck looks good because I made it look good. And it was ugly as fuck when I got it. But everyone's like, oh, man, but, says the guy with a cool truck that you don't need a cool truck to make money. And I'm like, you look at, like, Skyler. He bought his truck. It's an ugly fucking truck. Mm-hmm. And he's out making money with it because instead of saying, hey, I've got to have a big cat. I've got to have a Peterbilt long nose fucking flat top sleeper with 20-inch fucking stacks on it. Like, he's like, this is what I can get right now, and this is what I'm going to run right now, and we make money at it. Like I said, as you progress, I want to buy cool trucks. I want to make them cool. But the cost, when we were going to auctions, and this is pre-COVID because I quit paying attention, I don't have the money for it kind of thing. But when we were looking at shit, if it was a Kenworth or a Peterbilt, it was 10 grand more automatically than any other truck in the auction. If it had a cat, it was another 10 grand over any other Peterbilt or Kenworth.
18 speed, another 5.
Yep. And if it had all of those, you were looking at double whatever those other ones were going to cost. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like I said, my problem is I'm used to big engines, and I ran from fucking C7s. I used to haul my dad's 140 excavator around on a C7, and we came down airport, and it was fucking sketchy. No brakes, no exhaust brakes, all trailer brakes, and it was not a good idea. That's when we're like, hey, maybe we should figure something else out about this. But then I had the 550 horse E model, and then I got this one that's now 625 horse that I want to turn down because it's too much fucking power. But that truck over the B model or the 12.7 is 2 hours every day that I'm not in a truck. Mm-hmm. But like I said, that's where people are like, hey, what do you recommend? What are you doing? Okay.
You're going to haul oversized? You're going to haul equipment? Aerodynamics is not your friend.
No, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like I said, are you going to have a 7-axle side dump that you're 40 tons and you're just, like I said, you're pulling hills all day? You don't give a fuck about aerodynamics.
No.
You want to pull the hill and not tear shit up. Like, do you want to run cool? And then they're like, oh, well, I want to turn it up. Okay, don't go buy a semi then. Don't get into trucking. Just fucking go buy a pickup and turn it up and go get a day job and pay to fix it. They're like, well, why not? And I was like, there's 2 things I've learned you don't fuck with. Small engines and big engines. Your pickup, go tune it. Go throw a turbo on it, go do dumb shit to it. If you tear it up, it's actually not that hard to fix. Whatever, fuck it. If you're not too dumb. If you get a semi and you turn it up, you melt it. If you get a small side-by-side and you turn it up, you melt it. Mm-hmm. Don't fuck with the 2 things that there's no reason to fuck with. For whatever reason, pickups are the,
sweet spot?
Yes. The one thing that you can fuck with and get away with to a degree.
Well, it's like those people.
Power's so important.
Power's so important. Yeah, until you're sitting on the side of the road calling Josh, hey, my drive line is in pieces. What do I do now?
How many repair bills have you fucking paid for?
You know how many repair jobs your dad has been on because of power?
But I gotta have that 1,000 horsepower.
I know of at least one.
Go for it, dude.
But like I said, I don't. When people are like, I want to turn it up, no.
And that's one thing I won't do.
Right, because you told me that.
People call me and they're like, hey, turn this up. Nope.
My dad even said that.
Not doing it.
He said, Cat's like, yeah, we could turn your engine up to such and such. And he's like, yeah, Josh said that take it to Cat then.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to turn it up and be the guy that you look at and point the finger and...
I don't delete either.
Right.
I can make so much money deleting shit. I don't want to do it. I don't want to turn stuff up because...
It's like a liability.
Soon as it goes down the road, I turn your stuff up to 700 horsepower, right? You smoke the clutch, blow the transmission, rip out a rear end or whatever. Well, you should have known better. You should have told me this could have happened.
You mean like when we rebuilt mine?
You should just make him sign a waiver.
That doesn't matter. I'm what's known as the subject matter expert. So if I do it, I'm telling you that it's okay.
Yeah. And the other thing is I found out a waiver, if you're the subject matter expert, a waiver may not hold up. Nope. Like if they want to sue for liability, him letting them do it, him doing it for them and knowing better means that he's to blame no matter what.
Yep.
But it's your job to do it, and you should already know this.
That was like my truck, though. We literally did nothing but rebuilt it, and it has so much more power, it ripped the driveline out. Mm-hmm. And it ripped the tranny out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want my truck to make 1,000 wheel horsepower, and I want to go fast.
I don't mind.
You're going to overheat it. You're going to melt a piston. You're going to drop a liner. You're going to do everything bad possibly that you can, and it's going to end up costing you 3 times more.
Well, I don't get the people
But what
that...
if I give you the parts to do it?
I won't
Even
do
if
that
they're
either.
used?
Right. Even if they're... Hey, I found some broken rocker arms. I welded back together. The guys that go through like an engine a year and tell me it's still profitable because they're going so fast and they're hauling so fast and they're making up so much time and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, an engine a year is... There's no way. You can't make that up. If you're making so much money, you can burn an engine a year at 20... Even if you're doing it yourself, at 23 grand a year of acceptable loss... That is too much money. There's no way you're making that much money.
There was I met a guy at a truck stop, and he had one of those studio,
Like the big sleepers?
Yeah,
The
like-
campers?
Oh, one of those?
huge fucking
Yep.
thing. It's got like a toilet in it.
Yeah, but they need like a lift axle to keep the frame from bending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you haul? He says, I haul value, not weight. I was like, what do you mean?
Yep.
I haul 3 787 or 747 engines.
Yep.
At 3 or
Oh,
4.
was it like basically the engine we saw on the way here?
No, it's an airplane engine.
They're on
Oh,
those, there's on those big rolling racks. Like
Yeah.
their engine stand is what they transport. They roll around and yeah.
He says they don't weigh that much.
No, that's what
But-
Grandpa said. He wanted to get one but he said the people he talked to get one, you have to have a designated haul. You
Yep.
do not. You are not out looking at a load board.
He drives from. He said, what did he say? He drives from like Michigan or Illinois or something. Sometimes he goes to New York, but he drives to Boeing, whatever, Seattle.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Yep.
And
Because Grandpa's like, you get the haul. You have a truck like mine, whatever. I mean, you're sleeping in the day cab or you're getting a motel, whatever. You get the haul. They pay so amazing, and they're hard to get on, obviously, because there's people know somebody to get on them. But after you start,
imagine the insurance liability on that, because that engine's got to be millions, and you're hauling 4 of them.
yeah, yeah,
Just
they're
how much that weighs.
It doesn't weigh anything.
no, they're light.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they have to.
They fly.
But like I said, though, they're
They have more. They have a space issue, not a weight issue.
yeah. So like I said, they have these big, massive camper semis, and Boeing's like, hey, you only have to get 4 a week from point A to point B, and it pays $10,000, and he's like, okay. And then they buy these fancy ass trucks, they sell their house, they retire, and they fucking cruise around. They're like, hey, you want to go on a detour and fucking go to Vegas? And they're like, that's out of the way. I got a week. I got a week to make a 2-day fucking trip. So
Sometimes
we're
he
fine.
said he'd get to like the Boeing plant or whatever and be like, hey, this needs to go to, they put like 2 engines on there and be like, hey, this one needs to go to Vegas and this one needs to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
Because like it's broke or whatever. And he goes down there, goes on the maintenance airport, whatever, and they take it off, and then he goes back up to where he picks up the 4 and picks them up and back across. And
That's like, because like I said, I don't do sales calls. I don't do a lot of bullshit. The people that call me are because usually 2 reasons. They need it done efficiently, and like I may not be the quickest, but they know if the truck can be on the road, it will be on the road. And I will find they don't have to fuck around. The crews aren't trying to figure out where I dumped the pile of dirt. The crews aren't trying to push the piles of dirt because I stack them really nicely. And then the second thing is when they get told that we can't do this, they call me. I'm the guy that gets the fucking dirt roads with a lowboy, and someone's like, hey, you can't take that back there. And I'm like, I can. I don't know about you, but I can. Like I said, I was never allowed to say no. So we were hauling like truck and pup trailers. I was fucking 65 feet long. And the guys from opposing companies were pulling in their truck only. And my truck is the same size as their truck, and then I have a trailer on. And they're like, hey, you can't bring that in here. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, because we couldn't do it, so you're young, you must not be able to do it. And I'd roll in there, and I'd dump, and then I'd dump both fucking things right where they wanted it, and I'd go turn around, and I'd leave. And it got to the point that my dad had got a call from one of the bigger contractors that we were making them look bad, and they were not happy. And my dad's like, problem is, as you well know, sometimes there's people that are big enough. It's like, hey, do we reevaluate. And then I even told him, he goes, how do we do things differently? Just because my guys are better than yours, what the fuck you want me to do about it? Like, I can't tell them, hey, be worse at your job. Like, fuck. And so there was some times that we quit doing work with people because they did not like us for what we were doing. And then we had the one guy.
So they didn't like you for being efficient?
Yes, literally. They did not, because they were, and I hate to say it, but the union shit. Some of these guys are union. Mm-hmm. They did not like the fact that we were getting away with their union nonsense, because while they're out fucking around and the union's protecting them, we are literally, one day it's one truck, next day it's two trucks, the next day it's three trucks. Pretty soon, they're telling their own trucks to get off the job site because they're tired of them blocking the road, because that dude fucking union brake kick on, he'd pull his brake in the middle of the fucking job site. Didn't even fucking care. And so then they got mad, and then the union stepped in, and we weren't allowed to haul for them anymore.
Teamsters, baby.
Oh,
Teamsters.
Oh yeah, it is Teamsters, huh? Yeah. And then they fucking, because the one day...
My wife's grandpa was a OOIDA, owner, operator, independent.
Grandpa Jack?
Yeah. Hated the fucking union.
Oh, fucking... I wouldn't hate the union except for the part where they, like, promote laziness. They, like, especially the modern union is a business. They're out to make money. That is all their only goal.
Do you know that unions, when they bid stuff, because they're more expensive,
Always.
The union hall will kick in the difference so that they can lower their bid so they can compete with non-union so they can take the work.
Oh my God, that's fucking crazy.
No bullshit. That when they get a job, they will be like, okay, so-and-so was $500,000 cheaper. The union hall will be like, okay, cool. Put yours below theirs or the same as theirs. We'll kick in the $500,000 so you can get the contract. It's going to take longer.
And it's going to be less quality, and there's going to be a lot more fucking around. And then the union hall's hoping they change order a bunch of shit and give the money back. And
they got run off of the Vegas Raiders now. When they were building that new stadium,
yeah,
the union got ran out. They were pissed.
Because it just got awful, or?
No, they were so behind schedule. So they hired all of the scabs, and then they ended up like inflating this giant rat at the like entry point, and then they slow walk in front of everybody that's trying to get into the job site. I'm like, you guys look like ass right now.
And partially because you couldn't do your job, so now you're going to hinder the people that can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my dad told one of the customers that he's a whore, and he goes, I'll have my guys do anything for money. So the dude calls him and says, hey, can you fit your truck and pups into this job site? And he calls me. Can you fit your truck and pup into this job site? And we were paving. And I said, yes, until we run out of open ground because we're fucking paving. Well, the customer says, yeah, bring your pups. Me and my other driver, who he's fucking really good too, we show up. Everyone else is truck only. And we're like, and they're like, hey, what do you have your trailer on for? I was like, because the boss told us to put a trailer on. So we talked to their boss and like, hey, why do we have a trailer on? And the guy's like, well, because you can haul more. And I was like, yeah, but it takes us longer. Like, we literally are like tripling our round times because we have to hook and unhook. Mm-hmm. If we just had trucks, we could literally like cut our round time in half instead of making it 3 times as long. And finally the dude's like, hey, if you guys aren't man enough to fucking, I was like, oh, don't even fucking tempt me. I was, hey, something to prove. Watch this. So then we got in trouble because we were spinning circles. You sent me a video of the tires.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing. And we would like fucking back circles and have to back up in weird ways. And we were fucking up all their grade. And so finally the one guy was like, hey.
Stay off the brush tops.
Finally the one guy was like, hey, can you guys not bring your trailers back? And I said, no, we're going to bring them back. And he's like, well, I don't want you to. I was like, you should have thought of that before you called my fucking boss and told him to bring the trailers to fuck with us. Because they didn't like us. We didn't like them. They didn't like us, but they paid their bills, and my dad loved it. And they paid good. So finally the guy's like, hey, man, you guys aren't welcome back. Like, I'll send you home. And I said, first of all, if I have to leave my trailer, you still pay trailer rate because I had to bring it here this morning. He's like, I don't give a fuck, but quit fucking up my grade. So finally we went all day fucking up their grade on purpose. And then, like, the last load, I was like, hey, I don't really want to hook back up again. So me and the other driver left them and went and got loaded, came back, and like, your trailers are right in the way. I was like, what do you think was going to fucking happen when the only place to park them is where you have to pave? Like, what do you want us to do? So we dumped, took the trailers, and left and didn't come back. I've had a few times where we had, they were building a road. We weren't doing the paving. We were just stockpiling. And they called a belly dump. While they were grabbing the chew, I was like, Jesus. They brought in a belly dump. They had a bunch of end dumps and one belly dump. And the belly dump, the loader guy comes over and says, hey, you guys are going too slow. The belly dump's passing you. And I'm like, dude, it's a fucking belly dump. He rolls in, hits a switch, dumps, and leaves. Like, fuck you. You know, like, I have to stop, engage a PTO, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, but still, you're slow. I took that personally. I passed that belly dump by the end of the day. And then the job site foreman comes over and goes, why are you driving like this? And I said, your loader guy told me I was too slow. He's like,
I think it was OSHA approved.
It wasn't.
Who?
I don't know where. My truck was built perfectly. It wasn't just me, it was the truck. I could happen to dump both boxes at the same time. So I would roll into that job site, and you have to like stop to enter. Mm-hmm. As soon as I would stop, I'd engage the PTO, drive on the job site, raise both boxes. And the guy's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm not slowing anymore now, am I, motherfucker? And the guy that told me I was slow came over and he goes, you're making this really hard for me in the loader. I was like, not my fucking problem.
But I'm faster.
That's what I done.
Faster than fast, quicker than quick.
Finally, the foreman comes over and goes, hey, I told the loader guy to leave you alone. Please go back to doing the job that you were doing that was amazing, even if it did take a little bit longer, and quit doing what you're doing right now. And I said, what about the belly dump? He goes, I got rid of the belly dump because all he did was fucking make a mess. And I'm like, so we're good though, right? Like you're not going to call my boss and complain I'm too slow. And he's like, no, you guys did amazing. Like, we didn't have to loader the piles up. You guys had like stacked them so perfectly. The loader didn't have to do anything. He sat there on his phone. I said, he shouldn't fucking say anything then, huh? That was the same thing with they were building the school down the street, the Medicine Crow.
Uh-huh.
And we were hauling for that. And there was 3 of us and 3 other people. And I don't know why, being young, everyone thinks they have to tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. So I'd roll on the job site. And the one guy was like, hey, I want you to dump where I tell you to because I need, material. Everyone else is just blowing through here. We had a D8 dozer. It's like a D8, but has the trash wheels on it, the big steel ones.
Oh, compactor.
Yes. They had one of those, a D8, and a scraper of equivalent size in the hole with 4 semis, truck and pups, and you couldn't see them. You couldn't tell there was anything in this hole. So everyone's blowing through there just dumping, and he's telling me where to dump specifically. Finally, he kicks the door open on the D8, and he goes, do I have to fucking tell you where to dump every goddamn time? And I said, nope, that's all you had to say. And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, but you won't talk to me like that. And I closed my door, and I raised both boxes and drove off. And then the next load, I raised both boxes and drove off. And the guy's like, why aren't you putting these anywhere specific? I said, oh, that guy over there just told me to do whatever the fuck I wanted, so thank you. And then they started fighting because they were complaining that I shouldn't be doing whatever the fuck I want. And then the other guy's like, if you leave him alone, he'll do exactly what needs to be done. And then the first guy goes, well, then why do I have to point every time?
Because it's your job.
Guy B goes, if you quit fucking pointing, if you didn't start pointing, he would have just did what everybody else did. But because you told him to do what you want to do, he's like, well, if he was fucking intelligent, and the guy's like, well, now we're fucking stuck with this kid that's dumping both boxes as he rolls into this goddamn hole. It was a good time. And then,
that's like the bridge project that's going on right now.
yes,
I'm surprised at how fast they're going.
those motherfuckers are moving.
Yeah.
They did the first one in months,
Yeah.
but it's terrible. It is like the worst fucking concrete job I've ever seen. You hit it, the semi, it's like, did it, and you're like, there isn't, it's smooth. It's flat. It looks flat. Where are these bumps at? What am I running over? Did it.
Is it the joints?
No, it's that poorly poured.
Oh.
They didn't do any finishing to smooth it out.
We'll grind that down eventually.
Or, what is it, cavitation wear.
Yeah.
The bumps are going to then lead the holes to be bigger than what they needed to be.
It's going to be frost heaves on a bridge.
It already fucking is. It's fucking terrible. But they're moving quick, though.
Yeah.
They pounded through the ice. Did you see that?
Yes.
They took the equipment on the ice over the river to set up. Mm-hmm. Who the fucker had the balls? Who had to wear his sweatshirt upside down to have his balls and his loader with him?
Did you see
Some guy was getting paid more.
when the crane got stuck in the river and the ice dam happened.
No, I missed that one.
It was, I don't know, February maybe. We had that big ice dam and like everything froze solid.
Yeah.
They had the crane in the middle of that sandbar right there.
Oh, yep.
By the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And they had the big not the big loaders, the big excavators out there, like digging out a channel. And they've got, wire ropes on this crane. They're like pulling it, trying to get it out of the ice, and it's all froze up. I'm like, that thing needs to get fucking inspected again now.
You're like, I don't feel safe here.
That's like one thing I won't fuck with is cranes.
Like anything or...
No, my insurance is.
Oh.
My carriers like don't do cranes. I was like, okay, like why? Like you can't afford it if you do.
Because if anything goes wrong, the first person they're going to blame. Like Josh was like, you realize that I hooked my scanner into it to regen it, and now
it was hit by lightning. You left it in the river and it flooded. You were the last one to work on it.
You left it in the river. It's not my fault.
Hey, did I send you that TikTok?
Huh.
Does anybody know who fucked this up? And it's like fine machining work. And someone had like marred it up and fucked it all up. And he goes, yeah, Bob did it. And the guy goes,
oh, Bob quit a month ago. Yeah, you're going to find a lot of shit Bob did until the next guy quits.
I'm like, isn't that the fucking truth?
Hell yeah.
Oh, God.
Blame everything. Dude, that's like the military right there. They're like, dude, when I left, everything was my fucking fault. Until somebody else fucking left, and then it was their fault.
The best part was, based on your stories, it probably was your fault.
No, hey,
The amount of stories I've heard that.
Because Josh, they're like, so what happened in the museum again? That was Josh's fault. How did we get kicked out of France? That was also Josh's fault.
If that fucker wouldn't have spit on us.
Who spit on you?
Some French fucker.
So they talk about the whole censorship bullshit. Every one of those videos went through perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
Until one of them said France. Once the one said France, it froze my computer and my phone wouldn't work on TikTok. Those videos barely uploaded. And then they flagged the one and took it down until I appealed it because you said Hitler and Nazis.
Well, this one's going to do the same thing.
Which one was Hitler or Nazis?
France. You were staying in the bunker.
Oh.
You're staying in the barracks that you said that Hitler had built.
He did.
There was a swastika. That's what it was. Swastika.
There was.
No, I know, but that they flagged it.
Yelled at.
They flagged it for racism or whatever. And TikTok, it crashed my computer when
In the hallway, they had where they used to put their M9 Mausers, like in between the rooms,
right.
like in the hallways.
But TikTok, as soon as episode 1, as soon as I put one on there that said France, everything like shut down.
Oh, because they're rioting.
Yeah, but my whole thing is everyone's like, oh, TikTok doesn't censor anything.
The fuck they don't.
But how come I have all kinds of videos and shit doing all sorts of weird nonsense. Even the Anheuser. That was loud.
That was loud.
Even the Anheuser-Busch one was fucking went through with no problem. As soon as I put one that said France, all of my TikTok on my phone and my computer wouldn't even function. That's why it's on there twice. Because the one went through and then it said it wouldn't go through. So I uploaded it again in a different format and it crashed everything again, but they eventually went through.
Then you appealed it and they okayed it.
Yep, so that's why it's on there twice. The one has cool fancy shit. It says episode 1 France. And
yeah, but they actually
part 1, part 2.
Hitler did build it.
But see, it's racist.
Offensive?
Yes.
Well, it's not. It's fucking history.
It's no. You're not allowed to talk about history anymore. You got to burn the books. Get rid of all that.
You're not going to believe it, but we're actually learning about what Hitler did in school.
You're learning what they want you to learn.
Turn your phone
God
off.
damn.
Who the fuck is calling you?
My little sister. She's got my daughter.
Oh.
It's
Are you gonna come get your crotch goblin?
pretty much.
She's eating all of her food.
She's eating all of our food. Let me turn this fucking. Yeah.
We don't have any gummies left.
That's probably exactly what is going on.
Which sister is it?
Avalon, the one you met?
Oh.
Her and Hannah.
Oh.
Was it?
The lesbians.
I guess.
I told her, I said, Josh said, joking with you guys is more fun than he's had with any of these offended adults. So.
I don't mind gay people.
No, but that's like said they joke back. Like it was a good.
Yeah. If you tell me I'm a dickhead, then, probably right. But still, at least get to know me.
Take me to dinner first.
Right?
Oh, God, kids. Fucking children.
Off topic, but I've seen something on TikTok. I don't know if it'd work with this, but this is like a... What's the word? It was not made properly or whatever.
With a reject.
Yeah. I've seen people where they put these in, like, metal tubes.
I've also seen where people lose fingers, faces,
but that's where you
eyes, ears,
stand, like, a
arms.
good chunk away.
23 years ago, I've been right there with you. Now that I'm older, wiser, and I've almost died a few times,
But we
not so much. I'm out.
We take all the safety precautions to make sure we don't do that.
You know, what's funny is I've heard of a lot of people doing stupid shit. They say that. The one guys were breaking glass, and they're like, hey, we got to cover our eyes so we don't go blind. And I'm like, so we're going to, like, smash glass and do really dumb shit with guns and glass bottles, but you're worried about it getting in our eyes. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I don't want to go blind. I'm like, then why the fuck are we doing dumb shit with glass and guns? Well, because it's fun. I'm like, no, any risk like that to my eyeballs, I'm out. I like to see.
Seeing's for amateurs. You don't need that.
Oh, God. That's one thing I don't think I could do is be blind. It's hard enough when I take my contacts out and I can't see good.
Oh, I probably need glasses. I can't see the far distance.
Oh, it's fucking, I couldn't be blind.
Like, if I sit in the back of the classroom, it's just blurry.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Well, then focus.
Hey,
Open
quit
your eyes.
listening to your dad talk on podcast.
Dude, this motherfucker.
What?
Dad, I don't like dealing with people. I was like, well, you better learn how. They're only going to get dumber. Mm-hmm. His biggest issue is that he's like more mature than 99% of his classmates. So they're like, fart, penis. And he's like,
Shut up.
yeah.
For the love of God and my sanity, shut up.
How old are you?
13.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I've been mistaken for junior and sophomore before. Like,
Well, that's just because, people are...
when I went on the FFA trip, the senior in high school didn't know I was a 7th grader, and she thought I was a, 10th grader.
Hold on.
Yeah, buddy.
You said she?
Yep.
They...
Was she cute?
There was 2 of them.
Where's the problem at? What? I'm not seeing an issue with your story. Why do you seem really confused? But me and Josh knew already where this should have been.
In my defense, she looked like she would have dated the entire football team.
I don't see the problem.
It's because you're a whore and my son is pure still.
I was trying not to say that because Mom's listening to this.
Mom knows he's a whore too.
I am not.
Didn't you marry a stripper?
No, I didn't marry a stripper. What?
No, that was half of my friends from the army.
Yeah, I didn't serve. I didn't marry a stripper.
Fucking.
I'm not that big of a man whore. Brian thinks I am, but just because I got a notebook, its pages are full, but whatever. Besides the point.
We actually did have a guy that went to Korea. Our welder. He ended up going to Korea, came back with a Korean wife.
How long did that last?
I think they're still married. Now he runs cranes or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, but I did hear that, like the Russian mail order bullshit, that 50% of them run off after they get their green card and whatever. But they said there's quite a few of them that don't want to risk getting deported. So they're loyal and faithful and scared into staying with you because... And some of them I think genuinely get along with their husbands, whatever. That's just how they are. That's their whole culture is to obey the man. So, but they said that some of these women, they mail order them and they turn into real, way better relationships than you can find on Tinder.
Well, when I was contracting, we had LN Iraqi women that I was one of the first managers or field supervisor with a secretary. I did. I had a secretary. No bullshit. And
A lot of videos on that on the internet.
again, I was married. Dumbass. But I had a secretary and like,
Let's not go there.
and yeah, he almost had a second mom.
The hookers.
I had a secretary and she was like, they liked working for me because I wasn't trying to have sex with them. I'm
Right.
there to do a job. So they liked working for me because there was like zero harassment, no issues. I didn't let none of the guys fuck with her. And so she was like, hey, I think she's in Michigan now. She's like, hey, I'm going to go to the States. I was like, cool, you know, wrote her a letter of recommendation on State Department letterhead and shit. And on my daughter.
Rippets? Oh, that was such a good night when she brought Rippets.
Left an aftertaste.
It is. It's a weird energy drink.
But
Just
then,
gotta make like a shelf for all of here.
so she's like, hey, I'm going to go to the States. I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. She had a kid and,
I'm out.
well, no, she had a kid. Her husband, like, died.
Oh,
He was an LN and, like, they chopped his head off or some shit.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fucking Tuesday. And
Is this Korea?
no, Iraq. And then she goes, so I'm going to go to the States. I was like, okay, cool, you know, best of luck. Helped her, you know, move her and shit like that.
Yeah.
Got her on one of the runs over to the airport. And she was like, unless you want wife number 2. I was like,
I don't think wife number 1 would enjoy
yeah,
that.
Don't want to be in that video.
no, we're not going to.
Did she look like, was it Mia Khalifa?
I don't know. No. She was
Chubby?
cute for third world country, I guess.
Define that.
I don't know how you define. I know what he's getting at, but I don't know how you like. The other problem is when you're married like that and you don't.
You can't like pay it.
Well, no, I don't like I said, when I was married, women didn't like, I didn't look at women. I would see clothes, like someone would have like a dress on, and I'd like take a picture and send it to my wife and say, hey, find this dress. I want to see you in this dress. And everyone else is like, hey, he's looking at the woman wearing the dress. And my wife's like, no, he's not. He literally likes the dress she's wearing. Mm-hmm. He wants me to buy the dress so he can see me wear it. Like, they're like, well, what about the woman? She's like, yeah, she's a mannequin at this point. She is just a vehicle for him to find the dress. Like, he'll walk up and ask her, hey, where can I get one of those?
I can't tell when I get hit on.
I couldn't either.
Like, I have no desire to see another woman like that because
When I was single, it was the same way because I used to throw a lot of parties in the house. And a lot of girls would gravitate to me because I didn't care about, like I said, I wasn't trying to get him drunk, take him home, like do anything with him, get him, you know, where they were incoherent. So there was several girls that were like, hey, can I hang out with you? And I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, whatever. Just sit there and drink and talk. And later on, they were like, hey, it's weird to be at a party, and if you're uncomfortable, to actually have someone there that would like, hey, she's drunk, you can fuck yourself. Like, you're not going to take her into a back bedroom, and like, that's not okay. I didn't let that shit fly at my house. So then, like I said, later on, people were like, hey, that was really cool. And I was like, yeah, I almost got fucking in trouble because you guys started inviting younger girls over, and I wasn't here. So then all of a sudden, my house is tagged as this party house for minors, and I came home one day, and
you gotta thank you for not being a douche,
thanks for not being a piece of shit.
right?
Like,
I mean,
Very rare.
bare minimum of effort right there.
yeah. Oh God. But like I said, it was. I know the feeling now. Like I said, you're like, they're like, hey, were they cute? And I was like, I don't know. I guess.
Don't care.
I found out they are cute though when the wife wants to take them home. Then you know they're cute.
I don't think I'm ever gonna have that issue.
I did with mine.
No, not mine.
We had a toter that we picked up for one of my bosses and had a bed in the back, like the chairs folded down, and she wanted to go to Hooters. And then the waitress invited her into the bathroom to get naked so she could try on clothes. And then she's like, can we just like bring her with us? And I'm like, but it's not fair if I don't get to join. Like, I don't know, where are we going with this? Like, are you taking her home or am I? Like, she's like, well, she said she'd hang out with both of us. And I'm like, is this a trap?
It's a lie.
I went to Hooters, and the only thing I could think was these wings really suck.
Oh, it's terrible.
Fucking like the worst wings I've ever had, and I'm like,
Why do people come here?
this is so dumb.
Well, and I
Didn't
honestly,
you take Maddie to Hooters?
Yes, I did.
Well, that was my wife's like, I don't see the big deal with Hooters. And then she walked inside. She's like, now I know why men love it here. And I'm like, it sucks.
I don't.
I don't either. And my problem was it was Denver. It was like 4 o'clock. We had 30 fucking minutes to get back on the road before traffic hit. And she's like, I don't understand your problem. I was like, wait until...
Yeah, Logan's been with me on those before, where mom's supposed to be directing me through traffic.
5 lanes and she's used to 2.
Yeah.
Get in the left lane. And Josh is like, which one?
I need to know miles ahead of time, okay? And then I'm in the wrong lane and I see this thing is like Kansas, X amount of miles. I was like, well, we're going the wrong way.
Instead of get over now, get over right now so we don't have to.
Oh, I get over like hours ahead of time.
Oh, you have to.
We did the coast one time, like California and shit like that, and we went to.
Didn't we
We got to Seattle, and I was so over the fucking traffic.
I hate Seattle.
I drove from Seattle to Billings straight through.
When we were in Seattle, we had our GPSs up, and the roads were so fucked that it would be like, take a left now, and I'm like, there is no left. It's not even a building, it's whatever the fuck, but there's no left. And then come to find out, it thought we were on the road that is slightly lower than us that you couldn't see, and there's a tunnel. Well, now we're on the wrong fucking thing, and it's like redirecting, and it's like in 18.6 miles, flip a U-turn, and you're like, where the fuck are we going that I can't flip a U-turn for another 18 fucking miles? Oh, it was terrible. And then you'd like get on a bridge, and it couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. So then the GPS would like start spinning circles, and I'm like, what are we doing? And my dad finally was like, hey, we're going to hit like the ocean, and then we're just, as long as we can see the ocean, and we head south, we know we're
we
going.
keep the ocean on our right. We're fine.
Pretty much. If it ends up on our left, something fucking went wrong. The God, that tunnel.
We drove through Portland.
Oh God,
So many fucking bridges.
trips with you? So much fun.
I can't stand
Watching
people.
you yell at traffic is.
Oh, dude, if they would not be fucking stupid.
They don't know how to not be.
Oh my god.
That's their fucking problem.
I'm gonna hit somebody and
Josh
I don't
is-
care.
You're like, I'm in my M88 for a moment. We're gonna pretend. I had a different bowl of clam chowder that week that we ran the coast. It was so nice. I ate clam chowder for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh God, I love clam chowder. We went to Florida, me and Grandpa, and my grandma, and they have that tunnel for the bay for the bridges to go, like the big barges. Is it 200 feet below sea level?
Is it a tunnel?
Yeah, it's a tunnel. And it literally is dripping water, and they've got pumps, and it's sketchy. Because you're like, oh, this is cool, and then you find out you were literally, like, underneath boats. Like,
Oh yeah, someone like had a mock-up idea, like the early 2000s, to make a tunnel from.
hi. What are you doing? I don't know. Say hi to Josh.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, watch this. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. All right, I'll be there in a minute, okay? Love you. Bye. She's so cute. It would have put her on, but for some reason it didn't go to Bluetooth.
Oh.
But yeah, that tunnel is fucking it's a massive fucking... We went with Grandpa. Me and a buddy of mine went to, I think it was Denver. And Grandpa got sick, so he's in the back seat, like puking. And I give the kid the GPS, and he said, hey, give me directions. All we had to do was make it from the auction yard to fucking Joe's Crab Shack. It was like 3 blocks away.
Longmont?
No, it wasn't
Oh.
Denver then.
I can.
No, it was Salt Lake. It
Okay.
was Salt Lake. Okay, because we went to the cat down there. Was it like Bueller Cat or something? It's one of the bigger cat ones. And fuck, it's like 3 blocks away. Like I could see it. The roads were so fucked up I couldn't figure out how to get there. He's like, take a left on Montana Avenue. And I'm like, okay, 100, 200, 3. He's like, you missed it. And I'm like, there is no Montana Avenue. He's like, take the next left on Seattle Street. 400, 500, 600. There goes Joe's Crab Shack. 700. He's like, you missed it. I'm like, look at your GPS. Look at the road signs that I'm passing. He's like, I don't see them on the GPS. they're not matching. They had went through and rechanged all the signs to 100 blocks instead of, but the GPS had street names. So he's like, take a left. I was like, obviously that's not fucking working. Can we get like something? Finally, he's like, okay, 500 feet, 400 feet, 300. I was like, okay, take a left. He's like, wrong left. And there'd be like another one just past it. I'm like, I'm done. We're fucking over this. Oh, it drove me fucking crazy.
I cannot live in big cities.
Well, and Grandpa, the best part is being old trucker Grandpa. It's where he drove before the fucking interstates were made on gravel roads with wagons and cows. Like, he's like, yeah, so we go this way. It's way quicker. It wasn't way quicker. It was like 2-lane highways that went through like last chance for fuel. And then
500 miles.
we have no idea where the fuck we are. Grandpa's like, yeah, back in the day when I drove this, you just come through here and come over here. And yeah. And he fucking, it was like an extra.
It's when you get to somewhere and he's like, oh, I used to eat here and it's all dilapidated and falling in. It's been closed for a minute, dude.
I think it was an extra 6 hours to go the way he said over the GPS route. I was not happy. And then on the way back, I said, we're going my way. We got on the interstate. I set the
my
cruise
way or
and I
the
went to
highway?
sleep. And then I drove home. Everyone's like, you set the cruise and go to sleep? I was like, oh yeah. As a truck driver, you get really good at like just fucking zoned the fuck out. I wake up and I'm in Billings. Straight.
Sleep with your eyes open.
Pretty much. I've gotten really good at it.
I've tried to do that.
You wake up and you're like, holy shit.
Those long blinks are getting really nice.
Yeah.
I've done that too at 23 and a half hours of driving, straight driving. And the best part was when you get that tired, as Josh probably knows, reasoning goes out the fucking window.
Oh,
It's not like, why are we where we're at or how we got here? It's why is there aliens and where'd the spaceship come from? And
fucking
where
pink elephant.
I was an alligator. My dad had an alligator on his trailer. The question wasn't, why am I thinking there's an alligator on his trailer? It's how did we make it to Florida so quick and still get back to Billings with an alligator on the trailer?
Magic.
It was fucking crazy. And then I fell asleep to the sound of Trevin was sleeping. Trevin wasn't allowed to drive because he'd fall asleep in a vehicle so quickly that like he wasn't allowed to drive.
I cannot fall asleep in it.
Oh God, he fucking
Shut the fuck up. Everybody else is passed out, and I'm like, I could kill us all, and you'd never know.
Hey, I'm gonna die in my sleep. I don't even care. Trevin would fall asleep between my house and your house.
Really?
Oh, I'm not even kidding. Driving. Being the one driving, he'd fall asleep. So I have to ask his girlfriend, who isn't a very good driver, and I'm in my pickup with the trailer on. And I'm like, hey, I literally, like, I'm talking to her with my eyes closed. Like, I'm asleep right now. I need you to drive. She gets in the driver's seat, starts driving, and Trevin wakes up and goes, the fuck are you doing? And she goes, well, Chandler said he's too tired to drive. Trevin's like, yeah, but he let you drive? She goes, you wouldn't wake the fuck up. Trevin's like, yeah, I think I'm going to go back to bed. And all I hear next is, oh my God, that's a fucking semi. And I literally passed out. And I woke up and I'm like, am I dead? And Trevin's like, no. And I was like, what was all the yelling about? And he goes, you literally fell asleep. She got in the driver's seat, put it in drive, and a flash snowstorm hit them as we're like parked. She goes to take off and like pulls out in front of a semi. And fucking, it just, chaos ensues. All I know is we made it there alive and there was no dents on my pickup. I was fine. Trevin fell asleep. We drove to Red Lodge every day for work for like a month. Mm-hmm. And we had to go over airport, come down Zimmerman, and then hit the highway to Red Lodge. He fell asleep every day from this house by the time we hit Zimmerman. We would come down Zimmerman and we'd be either up against the concrete barriers or up against the rock wall. But either way, I woke up at one point because I passed out. And I was like, we're on the drunk bumps. I look over and I'm like, holy shit, we're going down the fucking highway. And it's like, you can't do that. And he's like, what? I was like, fall asleep. He goes, oh, you should. Good thing you didn't wake up before. He goes, you really would have pissed your pants. I was like, never mind. I would purposely go to sleep. So if I died,
At
died
least,
in my sleep.
At least you'd
Yeah, at
be
least you died in your
loose and limber. You could probably just go with it.
Just fucking roll with it. I was allowed to drive semis, haul $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment around cross country, or not cross country, but our Midwest area, you know. Mm-hmm. Company policy, I wasn't allowed to drive pickups. And I'm like, how does this make sense? My dad goes, I don't like the way you drive pickups. So I'll drive semis. I can do all of that, but you won't let me. He's like, nope, you're not allowed to drive pickup.
My wife won't drive.
Really?
Like, if I get tired, she's like, okay, I'll get a hotel.
Yep. I can confirm.
Yeah, she like won't.
I don't mind that though. I don't trust most women drivers.
She's kind of scary when she drives.
Shit. You're gonna have to deal with that when we get home.
Sorry.
Is she listening?
I'm sure she will.
Oh, she will eventually.
Yeah, she listens to him.
Logan's gonna get a text. So, when are you gonna be home?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gotten that text so many times. It's scary.
That's what I mean. Like you're gonna be at school. It's like, so I listened to the podcast from last night or the other day. When are you coming home?
And he'll be like, me too. It was the middle of math class. I have no idea what an integer is.
Oh, God, I cannot do those.
So, Mom, I found out I'm joining the military.
The fuck you are.
They said I don't have to do math there.
Bullshit. Fuck. If you don't want to do math, don't be a fucking mortarman or an artilleryman like they say.
Or a sniper, or a scout,
Yeah.
or the spotter,
They
or
do so much math.
I don't know any of that doesn't do math. Because they all have to do some sort of math to calculate where they're gonna blow shit up at.
Just guesstimate. It's fine.
The hardest
You'll hit it
school
eventually.
I ever did a workup for that I never got to go to was Sapper School. Sapper School is like the Army Ranger for engineers.
Oh,
So in the 54th, they did. I was in the sapper platoon, and we do sapper workups. And if you're a pogue and you're attached to somebody, you got to do all the bullshit work they do.
yeah.
Because
Why not?
fucking yeah. So I'm like, I'm never gonna use this. So I'd have to do the sapper workup and shit, just to like be part of the squad and help the guys and shit.
Yeah.
And the amount of math they had, and there was no calculators allowed. Like they had their little Write and Rain books, and they're like, okay, we have to make a road crater X amount, blah blah blah. This is what I need, and like they have to like plan it out and then build it and blow it up and hope to God they did the math right. Otherwise, they're gonna rain down hell on themselves.
Right.
So one day, we did a mock terrorist thing, and we were with the Bundeswehr Pioneers, which is the German equivalent of the sappers and the engineers. And so we're doing it with them, and they're like, okay, you have X amount of terrorists in here, and you have this many people, and you'd like have to set the charge, and then you'd have to breach and go through and do all this stuff, and then all the hostages and bad guys would shoot you with like paintballs kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Submunitions, it was like paintballs. And so we get done, and we saved like one hostage, and like 9 of our guys died. So the Germans get up there, and this dude's like smoking a fucking cigarette, and he designs this charge, and he takes it to the safety guy, and he's like, okay, I guess you can do that. He made a fucking road crater. Like a road crater. It's fucking huge. It's what you crater a air landing strip with, so nobody can use it.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So he makes this thing, and they put it on the wall, and they're like, okay. And this dude's still fucking smoking his cigarette, and he goes, okay, blow it. And they fucking blow it. And
Skadoosh.
yeah. And so it gets done, and the grader safety guy comes over and goes, everybody's dead. He goes, yes, everybody's dead. But terrorist dead, hostage dead. But what about my guys? He's like, well, they're all alive. They never made entry. Acceptable losses. I'm like, holy shit.
That's like Russians.
Yeah.
That was the Russians' equivalent in like World War II. If you throw enough bodies at someone, they'll eventually stop.
Well, they never even made entry. The way he was just smoking, he's like, yeah, acceptable losses. I'm like, holy fuck.
He's like, we
Civilian
win.
Casualties.
No,
Yeah.
it's collateral damage. He's like, yeah, so how do we know that those hostages weren't terrorists, right? Fucking, hey, win-win in my book, bud. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, all of my guys are going home. I was like, Jesus. If I'm a hostage, fucking stay away.
Josh is over there going, that's exactly how I do things. He's like, so breach charge, you can save yourself a lot of math if you just use an Abrams round.
Oh, dude, yeah, fucking shit, that house, the other house, the 4 houses behind
We
it.
don't need that house.
You know, Josh is like, so we have to breach this building? Boom. No
Oh.
building to breach.
Skadoosh.
You're done. Next one.
Well, if we told you to leave. If you were still there, that's on fucking you.
Right.
So,
You were voluntold to leave, and you did not listen to the
yeah.
voluntary.
Well, it's 9:30, so we've been at this for like 3.5 hours again.
This is
I know.
funny.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that now like doesn't get like a 4-hour thing in it because like you get to talking. If you actually get to talking, some of them I have to really force, or they'll stagnate. So like the first 2 hours are boring, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a story," and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Now we're gonna fucking pick up the pace." Thanks.
And I'm gonna edit the shit out of this.
Fucking time to go to bed. That one I didn't even put on fucking Spotify. I was like, ain't even worth it. This one I forgot to hit record, so it's recording on the computer.
I'm like, fuck it. This was for me anyways.
Well, I just don't have the. It's so much easier to have the audio because I can just put the audio straight on.
Oh,
But now I have to pull the audio off the video and then fucking put it on Spotify.
sounds like a you problem.
It is. It is. I still have a whole podcast of yours to go through to pull off shit. Episode 3, the second time you were back.
Oh, I've listened to that one like 3 times now.
Which one was that?
Your
talked
private,
about-
the hookers,
Yeah, hookers,
the private sector, some of your shit there.
Oh yeah.
tactically acquiring some things.
I don't think I stole anything there.
Yes.
No.
You did. Yes.
What?
Yes, you did.
No.
It might have been the tools.
Yes. Tools.
It might have been the tool stories.
As a contractor, I never stole. I did.
No, when you were back in the States. When you said that you, you loaded up the Humvee, I think it was, or the wrecker.
Then you found the.
You had to drive it to somewhere. Yeah, you found some shit in the boneyard. You went and picked up a bunch
Oh, at Fort Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't steal a thing when I was private contracting because the money was too good.
I'm not going to fuck this up.
No, I would buy shit, but I didn't steal shit. Yeah, Fort Riley, we went to the boneyard and stole all reacquired all the Dana 60s and 14 bolts out of
Why didn't you take those back here?
Dave wanted them.
Dave,
Couldn't you just have taken one pair?
I didn't know you were going to be here, dude.
hey, there's a lot.
You had one child. Why didn't you expect 2?
Well, see, the problem is, though, remember the hoarding stories? If
My
Josh
grandpa did not hoard any axles, or
But
at least
if-
good axles.
if Josh hoarded everything that he probably thought about hoarding,
That would be lovely.
he probably would need a bigger yard.
We would. I don't care.
The Army wouldn't have moved this.
The Army wouldn't have moved us.
Funny thing, all the sockets and the plasma cutter, the Army moved from Fort Riley to my house here.
I was like, God, you got a lot of tools. And he's like, all out of the trash can.
Yeah, mechanic. They didn't even bring that because it was private contractor doing it. It's like United Way or whatever moving company. They're
Yeah.
like, where were you in the Army? I was like, mechanic. They're like, all right, these are considered tool moves. It doesn't count towards your weight. I was like, cool. Hey, I'm gonna get a plasma cutter. It's like still in the box. I didn't have anything to. I didn't have like 240 to hook it up to, or a.
Who cares?
I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my wife and small child,
And a plasma cutter.
and I had a plasma cutter in the baby changing room. I think.
Doorstop.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things, like I said, plasma cutter over axles. I'll put the plasma cutter in the corner until I find a shop to put it in.
Yeah.
The axles, I'll probably find another set of those somewhere else.
Yeah. See, I found you a whole damn truck.
2.
Could have found a MP205 too.
He actually traded some overhead tools for a 78.
Yeah. Because I don't work on fucking engines.
And with that, please don't kill yourself. Go listen
Yeah.
to other episodes.
I'll when I get depressed again, I'll come back.
I told Brian that too. I was like, Josh said he wants to do a podcast. I said he's probably hasn't done anything all week, so we're gonna go do a podcast.
Great therapy sesh.
Yeah.
They are though. They're good for everyone. I fucking love it.
I hope he gets somebody else to come on.
Gets me through school.
Now I think I'm just gonna start posting on TikTok. Hey, if you have questions for Josh,
I do that. I do Q&As.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
We only have like 20 followers, though. We're gonna have to bump that shit up.
I am in fact one of them.
Yeah. I'm one of them, so that's down to 23.
You don't quite understand how much I listen to these during school. Like
I do listen to him trucking and stuff, but so we didn't get a lot of followers, and then I posted the one video of you saying, "Hey, like, get help," and then all of a sudden they started just slowly. I was like, so that's what it took. Fucking thanks a lot, guys.
There's got to be like one lonely farmer out there or something.
One lonely farmer. We had him on the show. It was terrible.
Well, if you want me to come back and all the listeners out there want to do this, take it down in the comments. If you got any questions for me, automotive related, if you're thinking about joining the military, or you just want to hang out and chat, we have this new process where you can do live chat on here, and Shelby's the only one that was on it. Hey, Shelby, good job hanging out. But as Bob Barker used to say, don't forget to have your pet spayed and neutered.